Hey guys, welcome to another live show. Another live She Knows Arsenal, second one of the day. Make sure you guys are liking the video and subscribing to the channel, getting into the chat, letting me know what you guys are thinking and feeling. This is an Arsenal therapy session. I think we need it more than anything right now. I know we're going to want to talk about Madueke. And so I thought it was a good time to do a phone in. And how these work basically is you're going to get your chance to have your say. My only rules are like, let's try to keep the profanity at a minimum and no abusive language. You'll just get blocked if you got, I'll just kick you out. Keep it as short as possible. Let's not ramble on for too much time. Check your Wi-Fi connection and make sure that your mic is on and all that kind of stuff so we can hear you. You don't necessarily have to have the camera on if you're shy, but just, make sure that we can hear you. And then the link is actually pinned in the chat so you guys can enter StreamYard. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I think we're going to start off with Wilson. He was the first person to come back. Hey, Wilson.
Hello, Jess. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I'm good. I gotta say, it's been crazy transfer sagas and news over the past couple of days. I feel like I feel like when it comes to Guterres, that was the guy I wanted all along because the guy is proven. The guy is proven. He's tall. He's quick. He's strong. He's prolific. No disrespect to Sesko, right? I feel like he's a guy who's got a lot of potential and everything. My only thing with Sesko is that when the report said that RB Leipzig were not going to budge on the 80 million euros, something like that, I thought, nah, Arsenal, you've got to come out of this, man, because it's a lot of money for a young guy as well. I felt what I like from Berta in this situation is that he's decisive. If he can't get the first one done, of the striker done, he's got to move on to the next one. And I think he
Right.
made the right. I felt he made the right decision there, because right now I think we finished like second for the last 3 seasons, and right now it will come a time we need to get it over the line. I'm not just talking about getting a striker. We need to like probably cover for Odegaard because Odegaard's been shattered. He's played every single game. He was off form at times last season. He needs like an Eze for an example, who'll give him a kick up in the um either Odegaard raises his game or he's going to be dropped. Because if Eze comes in, Odegaard has got to raise his game. I feel like we needed a left-sided winger as well. I feel like Martinelli and Trossard haven't quite hit the heights for me, to be honest with you. We need like 11 Razor. I'm talking about the likes of Rodrigo, Lookman, those two guys, minimum. Because those two guys are proven in quality, they're quick, they score goals. They've got that trickery that our current wingers lack right now. I think Subimendi's done, Norgard is done. The Valencia centre back, I suspect that will happen at some point. When it comes to Madueke, who's that guy? I can't pronounce it very well.
Madueke.
Madueke. Goodness gracious me! Why oh why? What on earth is it between Arsenal and Chelsea when it comes to deals with certain players? I just cannot get my head around. And I've been hearing that 50 million pounds for a backup is a lot of money. It just it doesn't make any sense personally because
Does the fee make you think that, do you believe that he's actually a backup, or does the fee attached to it make you think that maybe he's not a backup? Because 50 million is a lot for a backup player.
I think the fee bothers me more than the player itself. If we were going to get Makelele for 35 million, I would be okay with that. But 50 million,
That's a
that's
lot.
it's too high. It's crazy. I mean, what is it with Arsenal and Chelsea when it comes to these deals? I mean, seriously, I cannot get my head around it. Like, I mean, you know as much as I do, Jessica. You know as much as I do. You can understand why some Arsenal fans are angry about it because of that.
Yeah.
Period.
I think we have every right to question why we're doing this. And I do agree with you that, you know, Gyökeres seems like he'll be a good signing, and we need to bring in a couple more attackers. But the Madueke thing is just so confusing. It just doesn't make sense. So I guess we kind of got to wait it out. But I want to give some other people a chance to come up here. But thank you so much for popping in. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you again.
See you around, Jessica. See you around,
Bye,
Jess.
Wilson. All right. So let's keep it pushing. I wanted to bring in Mac next, then Benny, then Aaron. So I don't know, Mac, if you want to turn on your thing or not. You don't have to, but I'm just going to add you in here. And you're muted. So I'll give you a couple seconds. You unmuted. Okay, cool. Hello?
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm currently driving. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. No worries. Turn it. You could talk just a little louder, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this better?
Go on. Yeah, go on.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go on and give us your thoughts on
Okay, great.
Madueke.
Madueke. It's hard to say. You know, like you mentioned before, I don't know what the thing is between Chelsea and Arsenal. The fact that they've done business with each other for so long. We've gotten more Chelsea players than they have gotten Arsenal players from us. So I don't.
Yep.
It's just a very, very strange thing to me. 50 million for a backup for Saka. I really think he's going to go on the left. There's no,
Yeah.
it's yeah. You don't pay that much just for a backup. What I think is that Trossard's going to get sent to Turkey, and it's most likely going to be Martinelli and Madueke to cover the left. You know, he plays on the right too, so I guess he's gonna do both sides. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it's a strange buy for me.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're getting Gyökeres, which is great. Well, it's not done yet, so I'm just hoping that everything goes through just fine. I just watched the Club World Cup. I don't know if Rodrigo played, but we should really look at that. It would be great if he came to have Rodrigo, to have Gyökeres, and then to have Saka. That would be a very good attacking option.
Yep.
But yeah, I just don't understand this this love affair that Arsenal have with Chelsea.
Is it mostly just the fact that Madueke is a Chelsea player? Is that the main gripe that you have? Because I know that that's kind of why it's difficult for me to even think about what kind of player he is. I don't actually think he's a terrible player. I just cannot get over the fact that he's a Chelsea player.
Correct. Yeah. Same here. He's not a bad player. It's just the fact that we've had Chelsea PTSD, I would like to call it. Because the majority of the Chelsea players that we've gotten from them, they haven't been that great. I wasn't a fan of getting God, I forgot his name already. That's how much I don't really think about him.
Yeah.
Oh God, wow, I really just lost it.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he's our attacker right now.
Havertz?
Havertz, my God, yeah, it's been a long day. Yeah, yeah. I haven't been a fan of Havertz being up front. I mean, he's done a job for us, which is great, but he's not a striker. So it's great that we're actually getting an actual striker to do the.
Mac, you cut out. I'm going to move on to the next person, okay? But thank you so much for giving your say. I really appreciate it. Up next, we have Benny. Hello, Benny. Thank you so much for being patient there.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I know my
I
webcam
can hear you.
It's a bit like fuzzy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit fuzzy. But no, go ahead and give us your say.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for the show and thank you for always entertaining us. I usually will watch your shows with Deluded Gunner. So
Yeah,
yeah, thank you for the entertainment.
of course.
In terms of Madueke, well, I don't think there are a lot of Arsenal fans that will tell you that they like this deal.
Hmm.
Um, I am one of them that will look for the silver linings. I'm not saying it's the best. There are obviously better players out there,
Hmm.
but somehow Arteta and the Arsenal scouts have determined that this is the path we are going on. And as soon as he becomes an Arsenal player, I'm going to support. That being said, I've seen some like horrific abuse sent to
Yeah.
Madueke by supposedly Arsenal fans just because he's been selected, and I cannot condone this at all. Especially like, yes, say what you want about the player, but he's a Chelsea lad, but don't it's personal attacks and a player that is going to be a future Arsenal player. I do not find this acceptable at all from our fans.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to argue on the well, I'm not really. I'm going to kind of clarify on the contrary because
Hmm.
I heard the narrative that like Chelsea, we are like the graveyard for Chelsea players.
Hmm.
I kind of will challenge that just because I don't think, for me, apart from Havertz, I don't think Chelsea are doing a lot of big business from us. Like, I've kind of written out the players I remember we got from Chelsea. We got Willian money free, so Chelsea didn't really get any money, even though William was not a good player. They didn't get any money from us. Yes, we signed Havertz. And to be fair, Havertz was the highest goal scorer last season, even though he was injured for the whole most of the time. I know he's not a like a premier striker, but he's done a job. And if we
Yeah.
didn't have Havertz goals, God knows where we would be. We signed Davis Lewis for 8 million. Obviously, nobody wants to remember what Sterling did because the more we stay, but Sterling is their problem now. Sterling is back to Chelsea, and it's their problem. So it's not our problem. So
Sure.
I'm happy about that. And then the last player is William Gallas, which we signed for 5 million.
William Gallas
Yeah. So
was
I
a
was
shock.
really, how much money have we given Chelsea apart from the Havertz deal? We haven't
Mm.
really, if you look at the figures, we haven't really given them that much money. Then,
Yeah.
secondly, Madueke, we could have signed better,
Do you
but
think he's a good player?
he's an England international. That counts for something. He currently he's an England international.
Okay.
Yeah, that counts for something. It's not easy to get into the English team.
Okay.
And the last match they played, I think not the match, the previous match they played, he was one of their best players. He's not consistent, but he has had flashes of what he can do.
Isn't
And
that the problem though, Benny, though, is that like maybe some of our attackers outside of Saka is inconsistent. So even if Nani has some good attributes, bringing in another player that has this inconsistency, does that not just make our problem even worse?
this is a worry. Yeah, you're quite right. This is a worry. I think the one of the issues with our squad and the way it is that players unfortunately are not consistent. We have very few players that are consistent. And then the thing about Noni and what I have seen, because sometimes I do watch Chelsea games, is that gives us something a bit different. One, obviously, a backup for Saka, because God knows we need it. We need a backup. We need somebody that gives us something different to what Saka does, so that the attention is shifted to elsewhere. So if Noni can do this, I'm happy because I just watched PSG and Chelsea. I'm sorry, PSG and Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, God, the only way we are going to compete with teams like that is if we have what do you call it? Reserve legs in reserve. We can't be having all these Cabia, Nathan Butler, Henry Francis, taking them to France. We like, it's an upgrade from that. Like, I saw somebody saying Noni Madueke is Reese Nelson is better than Noni Madueke. Come on. Like come on. Like I know it's bad, but a bit of perspective. I know he's a Chelsea player. I know he's not that quality, but like as a backup for Saka, especially if we sign the players we are supposed to sign, Eze, Rodrigo, Gyökeres. If we sign those players
it's not as bad.
On, like I think people just need to chill a bit, see the end of the window, and then make a judgment before they just like, oh, like because a lot of the guys are like, oh, and I know it's not the quality, it's not consistent, but it's still July.
I hear you.
Your perspective.
Well, thank you so much, Benny. I really appreciate you giving your say. And I do agree with a lot of what you said. I do think that, you know, we have to hope that the end of the window, this is not the only winger signing that we make. But yeah, no, I 100% get you. And I hope to see you again. Thank you. All right, let's move to the next one. We have Aaron, Kanbara, Tig, C-Red, and Al. But just to remind you guys, if you guys want to come up and have your say, do not be shy. The link is pinned in the chat for you guys, and I'll try to get through the comments as well. But if you guys really do want to have your say, this is your chance. So, you know, go ahead and come up here. Don't be shy. Let's go with Aaron. Aaron, are you there?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. First time doing this. So my problem with the Madueke signing is that it's three things. Obviously, the price. Mm-hmm. Two, what the player lacks is just end product, and I don't know how you coach that. And three, the fact that he's deputizing for our most end product level player in the team. I'm going to bring him out for someone that doesn't have end product. You know what I mean? Like if we're 2-0 down or something and Saka's tired, we bring Madueke. I don't know how that changes the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you add those three up, I don't see how it's really worth it. Mm-hmm. And then I think about it more and I'm like, why aren't we able to like sign a player that is maybe like 40 million, 30 million from some other league that's able to come in and deputize Saka? It's always Prem proven. For some odd reason, which I can respect, like having players that have proven themselves in the Prem is important. So we know he has quality already. Mm-hmm. But when you know you have big signings you want to make, like Rodrigo, Eze, and you need a deputy for Saka, you can't find like a decent 18-year-old that can come in and show you some quality and talent. And like if it's 18-year-old, right? I get it. He's not going to be the perfect article. Well, we can see what's there. He has like 3 years to prove himself, a lot more time to accumulate. With Madueke, he's like 22. He's not old. He's still young. Mm-hmm. But you start to see more of like a finished player being shown instead of just he's lacking so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And you know, if we're gonna use an 18-year-old, we might as well just keep Ethan in the fold. Like I just feel like if we're going to spend this amount, you need to get a player that you actually, I guess the club rate him, but not many of us do, you know? So what do you think his actual level is? Do you think that Arteta has the coaching ability to get the best out of him? You know, because you're saying that he needs better end product. Do you think Arteta has the ability to make him into a better player?
I'm not sure. I've never seen Arteta like coach end product. He can coach defenders, absolutely. Gabriel, from when he came in to what he is now, is like a jump of a level. He can coach midfielders. Mm-hmm. He can coach the defenders, in my opinion. But when it comes to an attack, other than the 22-23 season when we like won for the league, we haven't really seen like a fluid, effective Arsenal attack. It's just been Saka and hope mostly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It definitely has been inconsistent. So I think that's my problem with the Nani signing is he's so far away from being what we need as a starter. And he's also so inconsistent in general that I'm just not seeing, I'm not seeing it. And I know 23 is not old, but it's also not young either. And he also doesn't really hit the non-negotiables because, I mean, the rumors are out there about his attitude. And I'm just like, Arteta does not want players that have attitude. So like, how is that going to look if he's not playing or things don't go right? It just seems like there's so many red flags with this one.
Yeah, he seems like the most anti-Arteta signing personality-wise possible.
100%.
So I'm a bit confused there.
Absolutely. I'm confused as well. Well, hopefully we get some clarity soon on what's going on with him. And, I'm just hoping that he's actually the backup and not the starter. But I do appreciate you having your say and coming on. I know this is your first time doing this, but hopefully you join us for the next one and stick around for the rest of the show.
Sure, I will. Thank you.
Bye, Aaron. All right. Guys, we'll just keep on pushing. We got to get this therapy session going. I'm going to do Canberra next, then Tig, then Sea-Red. Canberra?
Hello, good evening.
Canberra?
Hello. Yes, hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I needed this actually. This is a great idea for you to do this evening, as this has been it was when the news dropped at 2 p.m. I was one of the people that was instantly reactionary, like, oh no, like, is this really the level that we want to be going for? And like your previous callers have said, it's another Chelsea player when we've got a checkered history with Chelsea players coming to us. But the more I look at it, I think one of the big problems is we've not been helped by the transfer from Elanga, the transfer of Elanga going from Forest to Newcastle for a similar price.
Right.
So that's already happened. And now Chelsea are looking at that like, okay, similar age, of course, because they're selling the player, they're going to say similar ability level. And he's also on the same side, can play on the same side. So they're saying, okay, well, if you want him, that's obviously the going rate for what a left-sided midfielder is. And we're a bit stuck there. So I agree with what your previous calls are saying. It's a lot for a backup.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things we've been saying over the last few years is that our squad was paper thin. Like I think it was your second caller was mentioning when we were having to take like under 23 players like Henry Francis, etc., away on a Champions League tie. And you're like, you don't want to have to be doing that. You want to have, I know it's probably difficult to keep that many players happy, but you want to almost have an entire second 11 for each position, that could start if necessary. So I understand what we're doing. I just feel like I'll be happy with it. Absolutely. If he's back up, Martinelli needs competition for the left. He's been comfortable over there without competition for far too long, I think. But then we've got bigger fish to fry. I think like the other defender, Mosquera, is necessary. Number 9, we've needed a number 9 for I don't know how long now. And yeah, I'm just really willing to to see where it goes. Because also I saw a comment or somebody left saying that he'd rather have Bakayoko from PSV, but a lot of people may not know or may have forgotten that Madueke did his education in football, like in professional men's football at PSV.
Right. Yeah.
He left Tottenham's academy at a very young age and did his first few years in men's football at PSV. So he's got, I think it's, sorry, I know I'm rambling, so I'll wrap it up. But the last point is just on the attitude thing. I see where there was the clip, I believe it was last season, or the season before, they were arguing who would take the penalty, and they were 4-0 up. And people see that and you're like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
As long as this is not instead of Eza.
100%. That's a big one. Is this going to impact Eze? And all the reports are coming out and saying that it doesn't. But I think there's just that little thing in the back of your mind that's like, so because if we got Eze and, Nani came in, how would you feel if the window ended up being Eze, Nani, and Gyökeres? Like, how would you feel about that window? Do you think that that's like good enough, or?
So I think, me personally, I'd like to throw Mosquera in there as well, because I believe we need centre half cover. But if it was just those 3, then yeah, I would be happy with that, because it's business that, especially the number 9 position, that we should have done 18 months ago, 2 years ago. I said this talking to a friend recently, saying I still don't understand how we were not all over Isak when it came up that he was available before he even went to Newcastle.
Right.
How are we not all over that? To say he's just what we need.
He wasn't Prem proven. I feel like that's what it was. They weren't sure that it would work in the Prem. And then by the time he got to the Prem, he was at like, now we can't get him, because I wouldn't say it's a sideways move for him, but the fee that it would take, the contract that he's on, it's not happening.
It's for someone like that, that's astronomical numbers now. But then, I guess we'll have to see. But thank you, because I needed this after the news drop, so appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you stay for the rest of the show, and I hope I see you again.
Yes, have a good evening. Thank you.
Bye. All right, next up we have Tig. Are you still there?
Hello, Jess.
Hi, Tig. How are you?
All right, thank you. Sorry, I would have turned on my camera, but it's a bit messy in my room.
No, it's no problem. Like, no problem at all. You don't have to have your camera on as long as we can hear you. It's all good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, thank you. Yeah. First of all, thank you for this. You
Of
know,
course.
yeah, it's actually good to do this and also that big up your community, everything that you've built. You know, yeah, thank you
Thank
for having
you.
me.
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. So firstly, you know, when it comes to the transfers, you need to ask the questions about, things that they'll solve, isn't it? The main point is that, we need the players that will solidify our team and consolidate our attack, like personally for Arsenal, isn't it? Yeah. So now let's come to Madueke's link. Initially when I saw his link, I was just like every Arsenal fan. I was like, oh, maybe they're using this as a bait to get other targets. I didn't even believe it. Obviously, I follow Turkish, Turkish. I follow him. So yeah, I was just
Yeah.
watching him, and I was like, I was like, yeah, bait. This is just a bait. But then when it intensified and it got serious, yeah, it was really hard. It was really hard to kind of forget. And Madueke's, when we ask questions about what he solves, even has a backup for that prize. What does he solve at Arsenal? He doesn't solve anything. He doesn't really
Yeah.
solve anything. He- if we ask a question when he comes in, because now we're lacking. There's main aspects in our tax that we're lacking. We have problem with the transitional inevitability. When we get the ball in a transition, we don't really do things with it. And also when it comes to the ruthlessness, when it comes to when Saka has having an off game and someone else like to kind of look Saka looking over to the other flank and then says, "Yo, I'm not doing well. Is anyone that gonna help me?" There is none of that. Even in our
Yeah.
attack, people shy away when it comes to the responsibilities in terms of scoring. They shy away. So imagine we have Madueke as Saka's backup. One day, no, I'm not saying that Saka's backup because at this point we don't really want a backup. We don't really.
Yeah.
We want someone that
Did I lose you?
a better
Al?
use.
Oh, okay. There you are. Sorry, I couldn't hear you for a second.
Oh, you couldn't. How about now?
Yeah, no, but go ahead.
Yeah.
You're
So the
talking about
allocation. My main problem with him is just the allocation of the fund. Honestly, 50 million for him instead of us finding someone that has that element of consistency and that can provide that ruthlessness. Yeah, that's what bothers me.
Yeah. If we need ruthlessness, he's definitely not somebody that screams ruthlessness. Like, I think the one thing that we can say 100% about him is that his final action is very hit or miss, whether it's the cross or the shot. He's definitely not somebody that racks up the numbers in terms of his finishing or anything. So even though there may be some like talent there, he doesn't really solve the problem that we have. And so that definitely concerns me, whether, like you said, he's a backup or God forbid he ends up being the starter.
I mean, listen, yeah, my last point is this. Imagine, because the scenario that we're in now, we want to upgrade Martinelli. I think virtually Arsenal fans will agree that they need to upgrade Martinelli because he doesn't really necessarily offer anything that can raise the ceiling at Arsenal. He's just a player. He's just a good player, and that's it. So let's say if we add Madueke, I don't really think we will go for another left winger. We might potentially sign Eze, but I don't really think we can get another left winger if we sign Madueke. We'll be stuck with Martinelli and Saka. Then Martinelli will battle it out with Madueke. That would be the scenario that Arsenal will face next season. And I don't think going into the season with those two options, I don't really think anyone would even try to think that we're challenging for the league.
100%. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
totally
no,
agree.
but
Martinelli plus Madueke is just not, I think, what we were hoping for,
it's yeah,
Yeah.
underwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
It's
thank
very
you.
underwhelming. It's so
Very,
disappointing. Yeah,
very underwhelming.
yeah.
But, we'll see how everything pans out. Hopefully we still are in for somebody else, but I kind of agree with you that it makes it feel a lot less doable to get somebody else if we pay this amount for Madueke. But thank you so much for coming on and having your say, and hopefully you stick around for the rest of the show and we see you again.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Jess. Have a good one.
You're welcome. Bye. All right, next up we're gonna have, I think it's Al, but could be AI. I don't know. Al, are you there?
Yo, can you hear me?
I can. It's Al, right?
Yes. How
Hi,
you doing?
Al.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. The last caller kind of took my point what I was going to speak about. Because I'm thinking, I don't think we're going to get Rodrigo now. I think if we get Madueke, I think that's it. I think we'll get rid of one of Trossard or Martinelli, and then I think Rodrigo. I think that's a pipe dream, to be honest with you. I don't think we're spending that type of money. Also, I think Arteta's kind of signing his own death sentence with this transfer window because if we don't win anything, the fans are already onto him for signing Madueke. So I think if we get to the end of the season when we're not competing or we're not winning anything, I think all eyes are going to be on him.
Well,
And I think
that's how it should be, though. I think at some point we need to. There's no more like, he's not getting his signings, he's not been backed or whatever, so we can know what the true level of this manager is, and then either move on or, because for me, that's where I kind of am with him. It's like, this is the final thing. You get a striker, you get your winger, whatever, that you have to win something. So it's like, I'm kind of like, if these are the players that you want, you like these Chelsea cast-offs, then you live and die by your sword,
I don't get it, and that's like pissing me off because I can't stand Chelsea, and we're just funding everything they do. And like I've seen Madueke, I've seen a bit of him. He's rubbish off I don't mind him as a backup to Saka, but on the left, I think he's like as good as Martinelli is on the right. So I really don't. I don't like people saying he can play both sides. I don't get it. Like he's dead on the left. So I don't really get that he can play both sides.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of every window bringing in somebody that naturally plays somewhere else, but then we have to try to make them into something else. Like Kai was never the right person to come in and replace Xhaka, but Arteta spent a lot of money on somebody that didn't work there. Marino's not even really as good in midfield as he is up front. We have, midfielders playing left back. We got all type of stuff going on. It's like, if you want a left winger, just buy a left winger. Why do you have to buy somebody and try to like fix it? You know what I mean? It feels like we always have to fix something or make something, it's annoying.
No, you're right. And like, I think I'm a bigger fan of Arteta than you are. But like now I'm starting to really question like the attacking signings are really coming into question now with him. Like when you look back on it, he hasn't really, as you've been saying, he hasn't been really making good attacking signings, and like it's really coming into focus now. So like this is why I feel it's a very key summer for him, and he needs to make the right decisions because I don't think Madueke is it, honestly, and I just don't think we're gonna do. I don't think we're doing Rodrigo. I really don't.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's definitely going to leave Real Madrid, but it would be a shame if he didn't end up at Arsenal.
But what would be the situation if he was to come? He would come be our first choice. That means Martinelli and Trossard will both go. Because this is the other thing I don't. This is the other thing I don't get about Madueke. He must want to be in the England squad. So why are you going to come and play backup?
But I feel like that's why we're all kind of like, that's what we're being told. We're being told that he's coming in to be a backup, but we're all just kind of thinking like, okay, the money attached to it, and then the fact that you'd be a backup in a World Cup year, it's not adding up. And I think that's why people are concerned that, how in the window they start off with these big expectations, and then all of a sudden they pull the rug out from underneath us, and it's like, oh, well, actually, this is what we're doing. That's kind of what it feels like the beginning of, yeah, well, it was either, Rodrigo or Madueke, and they went for Madueke. Like, that's what it's kind of giving.
Yeah, and I think the World Cup year is a key thing with all of this because when there was the rumors about Martinelli going to Saudi, I didn't believe them at all because he wants to go World Cup. I don't think he's trying to be in Saudi Arabia in a World Cup year. Like I think he's trying to be in the spotlight. So I just think like this is a key point for a lot of these signings. They want to be playing. So
yeah,
even Eze's example as well. Like Eze wants to be playing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll definitely see. I think I'm concerned just like you are. And it definitely is, Arteta's, these are his signings. So we'll see how it goes. But Al, thank you so much for waiting and being patient.
No, thank you,
I did appreciate talking to you, and hopefully we'll talk again.
Take care.
Bye. All right. Up next, we're going to go with Kevin. Hey, Kevin.
Hello, Jess. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Uh,
besides the news?
Honestly, yeah. Besides the news, I'm great. I'm great actually. But
Yeah.
since receiving the news, like I was on my lunch break. I was like, ever since we received this news, I've been trying to make sense of it because nothing that I'm coming with that like that can serve as an explanation on my mind is making sense for this move. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to track things and I was like, wait a minute. So we are about to possibly offer Chelsea 50 million pounds for Madueke, who supposedly is gonna come to Arsenal on lower wages to be a backup to Saka. But we are having trouble at the moment negotiating with Sporting because of mere 5 million to meet their valuation, which is like insignificant for a striker that supposedly is gonna elevate us to potential title challenges this season,
Mhm.
and that it offers so much more than a 50 million pound signing as a backup on the left wing, which is something that I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I'm very
Like
confused. Like,
I'm
so
I'm even trying to be reasonable with them, and I even got into an argument like not long ago with a Chelsea fan that is my friend, and he was trying to reason the move that the Arsenal is trying to pull with Madueke to me, and I was like, just no, man, just no. I told him
Mhm.
straight up, just no. Don't try to reason this because this is the same thing that we got gaslit by the Harvard signing a couple of years ago. The
Yeah,
same way,
right.
trying to make sense, trying to adapt, trying too much adapting, too much over changing, too much over explanation to make something make sense. And this is definitely not making any sense. We are
So
penny pinching for a top striker. We are giving 50 mil for a backup for supposedly backup plan, and we haven't heard any positive news regarding Rodrigo, who supposedly was like our main target for left wing, which is a dead
mhm.
side at the moment. I even said that on your stream yesterday. I sent a
Yeah,
super chat, a chat. I was like, this is a priority for us. We should be trying to uplift our left side, even to
yeah,
try to like take away the responsibility and the amount of pressure that the right side has to create on this team because as you said earlier on your stream, like we have like an attack that is dead outside of Saka. It's
yeah,
literally dead. So I don't understand what are we actually trying to do here. We're not prioritizing our main striker target. We are not prioritizing our left wing target. We are giving 50 million for a backup in Madueke supposedly, and like the way I'm seeing them penny pinching for deals, I'm honestly not confident that we are gonna get like much more other than Madueke for the wings. I'll be honest.
yeah, that cannot happen though. Like, I just feel I understand what I think I'm operating under the assumption that you just can't afford to do that. After you can't sit up there and tell the fans to be patient. You can't sit up there and say that you have goosebumps for the transfer window. You guys can't do all that unprecedented window and then it end up being Madueke and a striker. So that's why I'm kind of like I'm operating under the it can't be, but right now the Madueke signing is so confusing that anything can happen, I guess. It's just he
It's
doesn't
something
improve
that
us
I'm.
either way. Like
It's
he doesn't.
actually something that I'm actually want to see how Arteta and the board is trying will try to sell this as a good signing. I
Of course.
honestly want to see them how are they gonna do that because
Mhm. Yeah.
they are both like both Josh and Arteta are great speakers. But I'm trying to see how this makes any sense if they do not complete any of the other main targets that we have heard from the press or saw in the news late in the last couple of weeks. Especially if they don't get Eze, I think that's gonna kill us morally as a fan base
Oh,
because now
100%.
they have planted the seed that they can no longer afford to not like give any more of like I would say give any more for it. Like they have to complete that signing. They need to complete the striker and they need to get Eze. At
I
least
agree.
if they're not gonna complete Rodrigo, okay, I guess it would be a great opportunity to actually see functional wings on Arsenal for a very long time at this point. But
Yeah.
okay, let's focus. Like we can get Rodrigo at the very least get an attacker, a competent attacker, and get Eze. That's it.
Yeah.
If
No,
you're
I
gonna if you're
100%
gonna
agree.
make us follow Madueke, at least try to do that. Give us
Yep.
something.
I think all of us can agree with that, and I do agree with you. I think they kind of have to get Eze now, not only because you're bringing in Madueke, but because you kind of, like you said, you put in a seed, and now it's grown to new life, and now we're I don't think we're gonna, yeah, I don't think we're gonna deal well if we don't get him. But thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it, and
Thank you.
hopefully I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Bye,
Bye.
Kevin. All right, so I saw C Red was in line before and then jumped out and jumped back in. So I'm going to get to C Red first and then to Safe. So stay in line if you guys are still, waiting to have your say. I'm going to make sure that I get to all of you guys, but I just want to get C Red first because I know he was here at the beginning and then jumped out. C Red, how's it going?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
A day that started so great, ended so bad. Oh man, being an Arsenal fan is not for the faint-hearted, man. This is like we
Yeah.
needed this therapy more than you know. This is I saw therapy have yourselves like, oh, let me finish up the game, let me start out this movie because I
Yeah.
need to hear what other people are just as impressed as me.
Yeah.
This, this
Well, I'm
news
interested to see what
feels,
you're saying.
yeah, this news feels. It made me think about what Jurgen Klopp said, I think it was 2 seasons ago, when the journalist asked him about why his passion is also high. And he said, like, sometimes you just do it for the fans. And right
Mm.
now, it feels like the club is not really doing it for the fans because all the fans are just there just before the finish line, waiting for the club to catch up to our state of mind. Like we are there, we challenged for 3 years in a row. We are so close. Everybody, Stevie Wonder can see that we need a striker. If you mention Arsenal to Stevie Wonder, you write on the piece of paper striker.
Yeah.
Everybody can see it. But just to be this deflated about the signing of Madueke is so heavy on the day. It's just the timing of it. If this would have come after Eze came through the door, after Gyökeres came to the door, everybody would be like, you know what? 50 million, we are still safe in PSR. Let it be. But to
Right.
be this one before the position that we needed the most, it's painful. It's really
Yeah.
painful.
No, I totally agree. Like it's the timing of it, it's the amount, it's where he's coming from, it's the fact that we're not sure if this is going to impact other things. There's just so much uncertainty.
Yes.
And I think if it was like any other player, if they were like, okay, we're going to spend this amount of money on Malik Fofana or just even if it was just anybody else, I think because I think a lot of Arsenal fans were down with Mbomo.
Yes,
Mbomo was
yes,
like
very
the
much.
first person that we were looking at for this position. And then all of a sudden we've gone to Madueke and it's just like there's so many red flags on him. I'm not quite sure what he's good at. I'm trying to figure out what is the positive about this signing outside of the fact that Arsenal maybe see him as like maybe Arteta thinks he can fix him. How much have you watched of Madueke? Do
Oh,
you think that there's anything
I
what
get,
is he good
I
at?
get, my hair stand up just by hearing the word of fixing because why have we become this fixing club? What are we, the Red Cross that we are traveling to clubs? Okay, so which player do you need fixing? Just don't matter, send him to us for 6 seasons. He will come
Yeah,
back a better player.
right.
It's just and what the other guy mentioned when you look at that situation with the penalty taking from what was it last season or 2 seasons ago,
Yeah,
that really says something about the character of a player because we all remember when Saka gave up his penalty to Havertz just so he could have that moment. You know,
right.
that says a lot about the kind of team that Arsenal is and that Arteta created. Just if I set the player apart and I just look at the character, he doesn't fit. It doesn't fit our character type that we are usually bringing in. Because if you look at Zubimendi, you can see that he fits the personality wise,
Right.
it fits the club. But Madueke doesn't, not even just player, but also personality really doesn't fit the club. So where this idea is coming from,
I don't know.
it's strange. It's really strange. We
It is.
cannot make sense of it. My
I
food didn't taste the same today. My wife was just looking at me like, "What's going on?" I say, "I don't know, man. This is." I feel like I went to the casino and lost 5,000 pounds or something, but I don't feel good right now.
I don't think any of us feel good. This is the first time that we've been linked to a player and about to sign them. And I don't really know of anybody that's advocating for the signing. I know people are saying like Havertz was the same and Jorginho was the same. It was not the same. This is
No,
different. No
no.
one.
Have you seen Igal? Have you seen Igal?
No,
I've
I haven't seen
never
it.
seen Igal this mad. He was, I think, Osam did a little bit of 2 minutes jumping in on his stream, and Igal was just, why? How? He couldn't even form complete phrases. He was just,
Yeah.
who, what, when, where, why? It just
It's
didn't make sense.
crazy. I just don't
Yeah,
get it. I
yeah,
think at
it's
the
good.
end of the day, like we're just gonna have to see how things shake up. I don't necessarily feel like the overall feeling on the player in isolation is gonna change unless he becomes a completely different player when he plays for us. But
I
I
hope
do
so.
think the feeling on the window will change depending on what else we get. And that's kind of all we can really
That's
hope.
all we can hope. I already booked my ticket to Nigeria to do some juju to hope that maybe it can work out. And for all the other people coming up, thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayer. We are strong in this one. Thank you
100%.
for having me.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Kiran. I
you.
really appreciate it. That made me feel better. That was actually really funny. It just we're all in it together, and like the only thing I can really think about really when thinking about this Madueke stuff is like at least I'm not going through it by myself. You know, I can talk to you guys about it as well. But I'm gonna bring Safe on. Safe's been waiting for a while, so I really appreciate that. Safe, welcome.
Hi Jess, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I mean, it's been a really frustrating day. Very, like, in all honesty, I was following Fabrizio's news, and all of the Arsenal fans were going on to his tweets and saying this is not true. And even he had this tweet exchange between Egal as well. And when he said, "You will know that it will be true," I was just as scared he will tweet this that we have bid for Madueke. And I'm just like so surprised. How did we like end up bidding 50 million straight away? Like there
Mm,
seems to be no negotiation in that step just because it's Chelsea. Like I remember when we were negotiating for Havertz, I think we wrapped up that deal like fairly quickly. And
yeah.
now we are haggling for a 5 million euro for Gyökeres, who is like the most informed striker in Europe. And we
Mhm.
are here not even negotiating with Chelsea and straight up bidding 50 million. It just
Yeah.
doesn't add up. And I'm not sure what's Arteta's obsession with these Chelsea players. I hope he manages them. Like in the future, if he leaves, I don't know. Like he loves Chelsea for some reason, but like if someone told me like few years ago that we would be paying like up to 150 or 20 million to Chelsea for Havertz and Madueke, that's crazy. I
Right.
mean, that like you could have like bought so many other players. Look, I'm just a fan. I'm not a scout, so I don't know like how many other players are available. I know not a lot of top players would want to come as backup for Saka. For example, Mbeumo is going, like United is going for them. Even Kudus going to Tottenham.
Yeah.
Uh, we could have tried to sell them. Like maybe they can play the left wing. I think Madueke is coming as a left winger. I think we have to realize that considering the fee.
No.
Even I was just like reading a tweet from the Times as well. I think he is considered as a left winger because just see, like I think we will end up paying 50 million for him. And considering the fee and everything and how quickly we have bid for him, did not even wait for Rodrigo to finish the Club World Cup. I think he's the left winger because he's the cheaper option, and that's what Arsenal do, and that's what all of us fans fear. And it's just like whatever difference comes to Arsenal, like Andrea Berta came, like all of us thought that it would be different now. Edu's gone, but nothing seems to change. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what's this process with Arsenal that nothing seems to change. that is the reason I think we are so scared to go over the line, because we are so scared to leave mediocrity. Like we want to be associated with mediocre players, and I don't know like what's up with this team. We need to take that next step. I'm very
Yeah.
happy that we are going for Gyökeres, and I think that's an Andrea Berta signing. I do not feel like I'm
Definitely.
following the news. It's not an Arteta signing. I just feel like I think that could be. I'm not sure how he's gonna fit him into the system, but he has to. Like a lot of top managers do that. Pep did it with Haaland. So Arteta has to. I think he has to. He needs to realize that it's his sixth season, and in the 6 year process, we are bidding 50 million for Madueke. I think we haven't waited for 6 years for us to bid 50 million and have that premium left winger as Madueke. That's
Right.
that's that's crazy. I mean, it's so
Agreed.
frustrating supporting Arsenal. And look, we all want to back the players when they wear the red jersey. We all want to back them. A lot of people are abusing Madueke right now. That's not fair at all. It's not on the player, it's on us. We are bidding them. And Chelsea's laughing at us. How come they have bought the player for like 28 million, a player who hasn't progressed, and they have themselves admitted like he hasn't progressed, and they're selling it for double the money? It
It's
doesn't
because
add up.
Arsenal is around, you know?
I
Arsenal is
mean,
around to
it's
save them
crazy,
from
guys.
their mistakes, you know? Like we wanted Mount, we ended up with Havertz, we're in for Nani. We also were interested in Nkunku at some point. As long as we're around, like there seems to be a get out of jail free card for them. And I agree, like, because they're buying players that we could have bought pretty easily. Like they, you know, we could have gotten Pedro Neto, we didn't get him. They got Jamie Gittins, we didn't get him. They'll probably
Yeah.
go out and try to get like Malik Fofana after we give them the money. We could have got him. I don't know what this obsession is with going to get players that have failed there and bring them to us, but it doesn't make you excited or anything. And we are 6 years in, and I think Arsenal fans want to feel like we're moving in the right direction and things are changing. And I agree that I thought with Berta things would change, but it does feel quite similar. So I am concerned. You know, I agree with you. I'm
Yeah, we
like,
all are. And I think SS signing is like the most important, I feel like. And if we don't end up signing him, I know we are all going for Rodrigo. Rodrigo is like a dream, and I don't think that's happening unless and until for some reason Martinelli decides to go to Saudi. I don't
mhm.
think that's happening. And they've been selling us that dream. That's exactly how Arsenal does. From January onwards, they start selling you the dream. It's gonna be
Yeah.
this summer. It's gonna be this summer. It's gonna be this summer, and that never happens.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we do. I guess we'll just wait and see. I'm sure we'll have a couple more of these therapy sessions before the window is done, 100%. So hopefully I'll get to see you again. I really liked, you know, the way
Yeah,
that you articulated yourself. And, you know, I'm glad that you like at least, you know, recognize the abusing Nani is not the right way to go about it. I think that
yeah,
needs
for
to be
sure.
reiterated so much because it's not his
And I think
fault,
he's
you
the
know?
kind of a player who stays online as well. Like
Right.
he's quite active. I think he must be seeing all of that stuff, which is not fair.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's not right, but hopefully I get to talk to you again and maybe
Yeah,
hopefully next time
nice,
it's
nice
a
to
better
have me.
reason.
It's really good.
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Hopefully I get to talk to you soon. Bye. Next up we have FJ. Hopefully FJ is still here because you've been waiting for a while, but FJ, are you there?
Yes, yes, I am. I am.
How
Hi,
are
Jess.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. Oh my God, lots of depressed Arsenal fans today, innit? Like it's crazy.
Are you going to bring us a
Um,
different perspective or
I am. I am bringing a
okay.
different perspective because,
Well, go on.
um, you know what? Like I went to bed last night. So I live in Australia, so our time difference is kind of different from you guys. So we kind of get the news in the morning. I went to bed last night. Everything was fine. Eucharist, blah blah blah. Woke up this morning, and I mean, my wife was like, "Why are you pissed?" I'm like, everyone is pissed on Twitter, blah blah blah, whatever." Anyway, but I have a different perspective to this, and I am beginning to worry a little bit about how much we Arsenal fans react to what the
Mm,
club does constantly. It's and I took some time out of work a couple of weeks ago, and I kind of did like an analysis of the reactions that other signings get when they sign players that they don't want, And I
Mm-hmm.
compared that with the reactions that we get as Arsenal fans when we sign players that we don't want. To be fair, I don't want Noni Madueke in Arsenal. He's not the favorite signing that I want. But I looked and I checked and I said, hey, do we really want Rodrigo? I looked for David Ornstein, I looked for Fabrizio Romano's report about whether we are linked to Rodrigo. I didn't find any.
Mm-hmm.
Just find me one report from any of the credible journalists that has said Arsenal are looking at signing Rodrigo. Credible. Not one. But we make this believe in our mind that we are going to get Rodrigo. And then we get disappointed that it doesn't happen. So I don't want to sign Noni Madueke. But we are getting into the same problem that we've always had. We start the season, half of the fan base are already Noni Madueke out from the get-go. We go
Mm-hmm.
through 10, 15 games. The whole club is in disarray because people are hating on a decision. And by the time we're in January, before we start getting ourselves together and going through the whole PTSD, the title is gone. That's that's the real stuff. That's the people are talking about Jao Pedro, Pedro Neto. Yes, the reality of the situation is Noni Madueke's not like Noni Madueke's attacking numbers, maybe not goals. I don't want this guy, okay? But his attacking numbers for a team that finished top four last season, Noni Madueke most of the time benched Pedro Neto. Fact. He
Did
played
he?
32. Yeah, check it out.
Shit. I guess I have to look it up.
Check it out. Noni Madueke played more times and was more influential than Pedro Neto for Chelsea, who finished top four last season. Do I want this guy? Am I really standing up and saying, hey, we've got to get this guy at all costs and he's going to change us now? No. But the reaction at F Arsenal, F the club is gonna do that's an overreach. Those things are overreach happening on different timelines. We are setting ourselves up for a new Harvard situation. We're gonna go through the next 6 months with division. Madueke this, Madueke that, and that's gonna. Well, we have to win the title. Yes, I don't like the signing, but I'm not coming here because I don't like the signing to make this just therapy session. Like, you get what I mean? I'm coming because I'm like, our reaction as fans sometimes is a little bit to the extreme. Because this guy is going to play for Arsenal. Noni Madueke is going to be an Arsenal player. You don't bid 50 million pounds for a player that you don't want to sign.
I know he's going to be a player, but that doesn't, I mean, I feel like I get what you're trying to say is like our reaction is too big and he's going to be a player. So almost like, well, if he's going to be a player, let's kind of change our mindset around the player. But the people are still not able to even give me a reason why this player is going to help us in any way, shape, or form. Like him playing more minutes than Pedro Neto, somebody else that's also struggled, doesn't really give me a lot of, I'm trying to understand, like, even people that are looking at the positive side can't even name one good thing about this player that's we need as a team.
See, no one is
Go
going to
ahead.
give you a positive. No one is going to give you a positive, Jess. You know why? Because there is no positive. We as fans cannot. That's the fact. I'm not going to. There is no positive to signing Noni Madueke. That's the fact. You know what I mean? And that's the reality. There is no positive. And it's worse because this is a Chelsea player and we're going in and dumping 50 million pounds on this player. But I have to also be very sincere and say to the same people that as much as I don't see a positive, if we were signing Noni Madueke from PSV right now, we will be clapping and be saying good stuff. If we were signing Pedro Neto of last season before he went and joined Chelsea, we will be saying great. I
Yeah.
like Malik Fofana as you spoke, but the reality is Malik Fofana could go I'm playing West Ham next season, drop numbers like Kudus dropped, which were horrible and stinking numbers, and we will be pissed off that we don't want to sign him anymore. So at the end of the day, as a fan, and you see, I don't like this signing. I hate the fact that we have to spend 15 million on this guy. But I'm just
Mhm.
thinking, and I'm not one of these kind of like ultra positive fans who's like whatever. I barely am on YouTube. You know what I mean? I've got busy work and whatever. I watch your shows sometimes, and there's a few other shows I watch here and there that I like. You know what I mean? Some fans that give good perspective. But the reality about it is, we as a club, we are so extreme that we put a rod on our back. I've not seen many Chelsea fans talk about the fact that they've signed João Pedro, who in the last 3 seasons has never scored 10 goals in a season. And last season scored 8 goals, or four of them were penalties or something like that. My numbers may not be spot on, but they're around about that ballpark. Nobody's saying there were no F my club. This is really ridiculous. We are going to go on strike. It's a little bit extreme. And I've got to be honest. I've listened all morning while I was having my showers, listening to your stream. I said, for the first time, I'm going to join a stream and talk ever. This is my first ever joining any stream on YouTube too. Nobody has ever heard my voice. My wife is laughing at me right now. Like she's like, this is ridiculous for a football game. I'm like, I'm gonna join because this guy is gonna play. This guy is gonna be a backup for Bukayo Saka. This guy is not gonna be a left winger in Arsenal. Arteta doesn't play left
Are you
footers.
sure? Are you
Yes.
sure?
From all the evidence
Okay.
we've got, Arteta doesn't play left footers at left wing. He does this thing whereby he plays the opposite footed player at the opposite wing. That's just the
No.
fact. It doesn't mean we're going to sign Rodrigo to play for. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but this guy is a backup to Saka. Period. Why they're spending 50 million on him is ridiculous. But while we are
He better
reacting,
be FJ. He better be, because I think if we would be a lot more relaxed if we knew he wasn't going to be the starting left wing. And I get what you're saying. As a rule of that, like when we got linked with Eze, my instant thought was, okay, he's gonna play like left center mid, left wing because he plays on the left. And that's like, that's the vibe. Like Odegaard and Ethan are both
Mhm,
left-footed right center mids. Because I know that's
correct.
how Arteta likes to play. I get that he
Yeah.
likes to play inverted wingers. I understand that. But I'm scared. I'm scared.
It's
I don't
crazy.
I'm
Madueke
scared.
shows up on the first day of the season playing left wing. I'm gonna be eating my words here, but the reality, absolutely, I'm gonna be like saying, what have I said? I don't think we're gonna sign Rodrigo. I'm just letting you know what I feel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't think
Yeah.
we're gonna sign Rodrigo. I think
Sure.
Arsenal is gonna sign Noni Madueke, and Arsenal is gonna sign Eze, and that's gonna be the end of our transfers.
And
That's what I
Jokeris as
think.
well.
And Eucharist, of course, yeah. Eucharist will make it true. People are shouting and saying, "Oh my God, we should pay 5 million." And Arsenal wants Friday to come, and Eucharist not to show up for training. And when he doesn't show up for training, it becomes awkward for the sporting team. They are not gonna just voluntarily pay 5 million when they know things could get heated up in the next couple of days that would force them not to pay 5 million. That's just a fact. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I do mergers and acquisition in my job. You get what I mean? I help kind of a work in law, so I help out with lots of all those kind of big deals. And I'm telling you for sure, when you are in those kind of boardrooms and meetings and top guys are making decisions for 40, 50, 60 million dollars deals, even $1 million sometimes could delay a deal for 5 weeks. I've seen that happen. So like, and I get it as fans, we want to pay the money and get on with it. But this guy is due to resume on Friday. He's not gonna go. There's gonna be, oh my God, what's gonna be happening? And then
Yeah.
Arsenal is gonna come in and give them an extra 1 or 2 million, and that's it. The guy's gonna play for Arsenal, and that's it. Madueke is gonna be an Arsenal player. We've got a responsibility right now as a team to say, oh well, it is what, yeah, it is what it is. Like, why must we accept what the club does? Well, if you don't accept what the club does, you're gonna go to the season. We're gonna have another situation whereby there's a new scapegoat as Arsenal. Everybody hates on that person. The attention should be on Mikel Arteta delivering a title. I don't care who you
Well, I
sign.
agree with that for
I
sure.
don't. I honestly don't care who you sign. I don't care what you're doing. You want to go get babies from Chelsea, go get them. You have to deliver the title for Arsenal next season. So don't take Arteta out of this conversation. I don't care who Berta is. Berta is not a coach of Arsenal. Josh Kroenke, Stan Kroenke, all those guys, do whatever you got to do. Arteta, you've been backed. You've got your players. This is another window. If you choose to spend on Noni Madueke, that's fine. That's your choice. We don't have powers to make those decisions for you because I can tell you for sure that if you sign Mohamed Kudus, it's going to be a better signing than Noni Madueke. Arteta, you should know that better. So, as a fan, I can only go by what I see. I don't like Kudus. People are shouting Kudus. I think the guy is a flop. You know what I mean? I don't see anything there. You know what I mean? There's so many players people all rant for. I remember a couple of years ago, I was telling a friend of mine at work, I was like, a couple of years ago, people were yelling out Arsenal should sign Ndidi. It was like a big deal. People were saying sign Bisuma. It was like a big deal. These were crazy like chants on X or on Twitter.
I
Ndidi, these are flop players. These are players that were, I'm sorry, trash.
Well,
Arteta is the
I think
focus.
that I get what you're saying, like 100%. And like, I think about halfway through there, people were thinking that you were making excuses. And I don't think you are. I think that your point is like, there's nothing we really can do about it. And we don't need to make him a scapegoat. Arteta's going to have to answer whether he win, like if he doesn't win stuff. And I understand that. It's just so difficult just because it's like it's happened so suddenly and it's just not a player that I think any of us would. So you have to give us some grace on that. The only people that don't
Absolutely.
deserve grace are the people that are abusing Noni. You know, I feel like they don't deserve any grace, but the rest
Absolutely.
of us
None
are
of
just
that
our heads are
nonsense.
on Pluto, man. You know, we don't have
Absolutely.
an
But no,
else, you know?
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. But
yeah, but
no,
I do
yeah.
need to get to the
Thanks,
next
Jess.
person. But thank you so much
Thanks.
for coming on. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I talk to you
All good,
soon.
Jess. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye. I'm dead. This is just so funny. I want to get to Ali, then Valeria, then Arsenal fan. We'll keep it going. This is, funnily enough, making me feel better, and I hope it's making you guys feel better as well. Or at least you're hearing people kind of say the things that you're feeling and you feel validated in that, you know? So yeah, and there's about 1,000 of you guys watching on multiple platforms, which I really appreciate. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. And thank you so much for the people that are waiting patiently. I know it's a long wait at times, but it'll be worth it. Ali, how are you?
I can't lie, my head's been hot all day, man. Head's
Same.
My head's
Same.
been hot all day. The thing is, listen, the guy, I agree with one thing the guy said. The abuse to Nani Madueke, honestly, first and foremost, is disgusting. Like sending him private DMs and all the abuse. I think it's totally disgusting. But I think the trending thing, I think it was trending, right? But no to Madueke. I agree with that because I feel as though us fans have to, how do I say it, make it known that we do not accept these Chelsea rejects, because one thing Arteta and the club count on is we welcome Havertz with open arms and Madueke. We need them to realise that they can't just go and get Chelsea players willy-nilly and we're going to accept them because we have to. And yeah, I think this Madueke thing, as soon as we were linked to Madueke, I just knew we were getting him. That's the thing. As soon as we were linked, I knew it. This is one of Arteta's savvy projects. It's one of his savvy projects, and once he gets his mind on it, you can't convince him. I don't see no positives to the deal. In my opinion, people might argue Madueke is better than when they're in the right, but I don't think it's worth spending 50 million on for. That's why I don't see it. Also, when you have Rodrigo who's there, who literally didn't play 4 games in a row. He's on the market. Why don't we go for Rodrigo, Eze, and Gyökeres? It's so simple. You Arsenal do the stupidest thing. I don't get it. My head's been gone all day.
Yeah, honestly, I don't get it. I have no answers. This is probably the first transfer that we've done in ever that I just cannot see what we're trying to do. Like, even as a backup, I'm like, Yeah, but you could have gone for so many other players. Like there's other players available. So I'm like, you didn't have to do this. This is very self-inflicted. I do think Chelsea give us good terms, so you only have to pay like a small amount up front. But then my question would be, so why are we penny pinching on Gyökeres then? Like if we're saving money by like
Mascara too, don't forget Mascara.
Yeah, it's like get Mascara done, get Gyökeres done, and get Eze, because it's only going to put more pressure on us to get those things done if you follow through with this Nani thing. So, and as a player, I just don't.
He's average.
I don't rate him.
Painfully average. Look, the way I see it is, I think people are getting frustrated at this deal because it's sort of pent up frustration. I think we signed Havertz after the 22-23 season, right? So people had more faith in the club because that was the first season we challenged ever. So people sort of accepted it. Me personally, I did not want Havertz to the football club, but people sort of gave grace to Arteta because we found ourselves in a title challenge. So fans are more trusting. But since then, we've had a lot more hits than misses in the transfer window. So, and then right now, when Rodrigo's on the market, and we're haggling over 5 million euros Gyökeres, haggling over the deal with Mascara because Arsenal, for some reason, refuse to pay asking price. Think they can, whittle down the price. And now, the first weird thing is, I don't get why Arsenal's. What's our persistence with? Why are we completing this deal first unless they see Madueke as the left wing signing? That's what I don't understand.
And that's what's so scary. It's like you're pushing it through, you're spending a lot on it. Is he really the left wing? And if he is, just tell us. Like, just put us out of our misery. Like, you stop this.
They did the exact same thing last year. There was reports coming out after the Bayern Munich exit. Arsenal hierarchy believed that. We needed X factor in the team. We were linked to Isaac. At least you remember the article. And then we end up with Sterling. This season, big promises of Rodrigo coming out. Not promises, but we were linked to Rodrigo. And now you do it 180 and go to Madueke. It's baffling.
Yeah, it is. It just makes. I just wish like they would almost just be like, instead of pull the rug out at the last minute, like instead of putting out PR about we're going after Isak and Olise and then ending up with Sterling, I just almost rather them be honest from the beginning about what their intentions are for the window, because I feel like it's even worse when you set the expectations high and then you drop us down, So if you're planning on Nani being your left wing, just tell us now and just don't talk about Rodrigo and all this type of stuff, because I'm expecting it now, so I would still be disappointed. But when you get like knocked down from Rodrigo to Nani, that's hard to take, so yeah.
Plus we have less, how do I say, if you come out and say, they come out and say Rodrigo's, they're planning to use Madueke on the left, we'd sort of trust in that plan. But when you sort of feed us Rodrigo as the Gyökeres, and then we end up with this. I also think people are forgetting. I think it's very arrogant from Arsenal to feel as though they can always save these Chelsea players. Right. Why do they feel as they think they're playing 3D chess? No, you're getting ripped off. It's clear and obvious you're getting ripped off. Always thinking they can save a player from Chelsea. I don't understand the obsession. What's the obsession with? Because Chelsea aren't. It's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah, it's not like getting like leftovers from Real Madrid or Barcelona, or it's not like that. We're literally getting leftovers from. I know they're improving, but like not the best Chelsea team ever. So constantly going back to them. The best leftovers we got were like from Real Madrid, or like even Jesus and Zinchenko have had a better impact on this team than anything we've gotten from Chelsea.
Exactly.
So like why we keep going there just feels like cruel and unusual punishment. Like, do we have Stockholm syndrome? Like, is there a clause in there? Is it money laundering? Like, what is it about?
The Jesus and Zinchenko deal, we have to remember, Man City were finishing above us. They were a better team than us, so their sort of backup options would guaranteed start for us. We're going to Chelsea, a team that we finished 3 times above, and go into their sort of fringe players, because you try and get Cole Palmer, Caicedo, Correa, Reece James, try and get those players out of Chelsea, they laugh in your face. Those are the untouchables. So when Arsenal feel like they're outsmarting the market by getting a Chelsea player, it's a Chelsea player that, in Chelsea's eyes, are up for sale. They're they're not untouchable, and you're paying extravagant prices for them, for like 50 mil for Madueke. That is this. It's gotta be self-sabotage. It's gotta be.
Do you know how disrespectful it is for like us to even go to them to ask about Nani, and for them to even suggest that, like, well, could we get Max Dowman or Ethan?
Honest to God, Chelsea Football Club do not respect us. How dare they talk about Max Dowman and Winery? I'd walked out of the room as soon as they said that name. They do not respect us. Yet we keep, people keep talking about, oh, Chelsea spent 1.8 billion and whatnot. There's idiots like us funding it. I don't think people realize it. There's idiots like us and United's for Mason Mount. We're funding Chelsea's, the 1.8 billion spend. So I think people got to realize this Madueke deal has no positives to it. People talk about his young English. You're not really saying anything, are you? What is he? What qualities does he have that's going to improve us? People need to realize, because when we're playing PSG in the Champions League quarterfinal, Real Madrid or Barcelona, you look at Madueke, I'm not really expecting him to do much. Rather than if you go get a Madueke, if you get a Rodrigo and Eze, and I know that these guys have qualities that can, open a game or decide a game. This Madueke deal is even better than Martin in the left? No. Is he that? He's not upgrading on Saka, of course. So 50 mil in the backup. Why don't we get Rodrigo, get Eze, get Gyökeres? People talk about Saka in the backup. Rodrigo can play off the right. He's literally spent most of his career playing off the right, and he is a bona fide starter off the left. This is self-sabotage. No, nothing else to describe it. It is self-sabotage at its finest. Whenever we Havertz deal, people keep talking about the Havertz deal working. Havertz he's okay. That's the best way to describe Havertz. I have no hatred towards Havertz, but people act like Arteta made that signing work. In our best lineup, does Havertz start? No.
Right. Yeah.
He don't start. People keep talking about that was a success story. It was not a success story. We're replacing him with Gyökeres.
Yeah,
Chelsea
100%.
will not do us no favors. They will not.
They're freaking laughing, man. Like, I think I hate that they always have a gotcha over us. And then I think people learn from the Havertz that buying these types of players, we're never going to get that opportunity to be like, we took a player and won with you. Like, no, like, we're never going to have that. They're always going to have the upper hand if we keep taking their leftovers. It's just.
Arsenal are desperately chasing a Van Persie moment. They're just chasing a Van Persie moment. That's what it is.
Well, they're not doing it right.
Yeah, because
they're not doing it right. It's not working. But listen, I'm gonna get to some of the other callers, but I really do appreciate you coming on, and I hope you got an opportunity to get some stuff off your chest, and we get to see you again, hopefully for some better stuff, maybe in the future. Maybe
I'll be happy with Madueke deal falls through.
I know. Well, we'll talk soon. Bye. Next up, Valeria. Hi, Valeria.
Hi, Jess. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Why would Chelsea? Hi. Why would Chelsea let a good player go if he was that good? That's my question.
Well, I think we know the answer to that. They're making good money off of a player that doesn't make their starting 11, and they've virtually replaced him. They have Jamie Gittins in now. They have Estavo coming in now, so he's surplus to requirements. The manager doesn't like him that much, and Arsenal are willing to give him 50 million. There's that.
Yeah, that's my point. They will not be willing to let a very good player go, meaning he's very, very average.
Yeah,
and I'm going to look at it from two different perspectives. If he's going to play on the right wing as backup to Saka, are there no good players who are cheaper and better than him? That's my question.
I could name you at least 2 or 3 players that are better than him, if not at the same level. Like, we can get different players,
Yeah, of course. Now, if we are purely looking at it from the right wing position, why don't we get better players who are cheaper? If we are penny pinching everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
on the left wing, there are also various players who are better than him, although they are much more expensive. If you want to win the league, you have to spend the money to get the best players. That's my point. I'm, I've been pissed off, very, very pissed off that we're getting
I think
for that
like
amount of money.
yeah, I think a lot of us are really pissed off. Like that's why when people come up and they're like, "Well, it's not that big of a deal," or "You need to wait." It's like, how? He doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not quite sure why people feel like this is an okay signing or we should just like accept it, you know?
Yeah, he's very average. And I don't know why the reason we keep going to buy Chelsea players. I have no idea. And to give them a lot of money as well.
Mhm. Yeah, we're essentially giving them money to fix their mistakes. Whatever players that don't work out for them, there's always an Arsenal or a Manchester United to clean up their mess. I feel, they were able to get rid of Mount, which he wasn't really a mistake per se because he came from their academy, but they were able to recoup money there. We took Havertz. Now we're taking Madueke. It's like they could be stuck with these players, but we're helping them for some reason, and they're closing the gap on us every single season. And it's really frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. I don't really get it. I never
Yeah, it
will.
is. And do the clubs see the hashtags and the online stuff? I don't think so. And if
Mhm.
they see, they don't care. Because we also complained when we signed Harvard. We complained a lot, but it happened anyway. And at the end of it all, us fans were proven right because he has not worked out.
Mhm.
And yeah, it does not take a genius to see that this player is not going to take us to the next level. I don't know why they don't see it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mikel.
yeah.
Mhm.
He's not even like
Yeah,
he's 23, so he's not old, but he's not young enough where you can just project all this like, oh, well, in the future he's going to become this and that. He's kind of what
yeah,
he's
I
going
agree.
to be, and I don't really see him improving so much that he would ever make sense at the fee and at the time that we're trying to buy him, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
I just want us to get better players to win because if these are the players he wants and he doesn't win, I think he'll be gone.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. If we were to have like gotten the other players first, like if we would have gotten Gyökeres and Rodrigo or Eze first, do you think your feeling on it would be any different?
Yeah, I do. I think we have not gotten the necessary positions we needed first. The
Mhm.
striker, I don't know why we are penny pinching for 5 million, and we haven't gotten the left wing position, and we haven't gotten Eze, and there are links to Bayern
Mhm.
Munich with Eze. I don't know what's going on over there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's tough right now. We started the window thinking we're going to get Eze, Gyökeres, and Rodrigo, and now we're getting Noni Madueke. How did you get here? How did you get here?
I know. I think we all
I don't
share
know.
that same feeling that you have 100%, and we'll see how things pan out, but I hate that we're actually speaking like for the first time because of this, but it's been actually so nice to like hear your voice because you're always in the chat. And so I'm happy to have like met you in this way, but I wish it was under better circumstances.
Yeah, I'm grateful to have spoken to you. We
Yeah,
should do
100.
this more often.
Yeah, we'll try to do them a little bit more often because it seems like you guys are really enjoying them. So, yeah, but I look forward to seeing you in the chat again, and hopefully we'll get to talk like this soon.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, Valeria. All right, next up, Arsenal fan. Hi, Arsenal
Hello.
fan. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm not that fine, but
I
otherwise I'm
know. I
fine.
get what you mean. Like in life, you're fine, but Arsenal life, it's a little
Yeah.
touch and go. How are things going? And what are your thoughts on the whole Noni Madueke and the window in
Yeah.
general?
My feel, my thing is we should stop saying Arsenal because this truly is a Arteta thing. Because
Mm.
if you think about it, Arteta is really stubborn. He is really stubborn. and he will not let go of the things he believes in. So if he believes in one thing and it fails, he will try again and again and again until he cannot do it. This Madueke signing is a signing that I think that Arteta has been demanding upon the board, upon the team, that it's like he's want to do a rescue mission in my eyes. He wants to do something that he sees some things in Madueke that he says, I can use that. I can use that, and he can become a brilliant player under myself. But what becomes the problem is that Madueke itself is a totally different player. He's a totally different. For me, he's not an an Arteta player. He behaves like a rapper. He behaves like a person that thinks he's the one. He's probably even asking that he can get the 14 shot. I will not be surprised if he asks for it. I will not be surprised. You should not be surprised.
Oh my goodness.
Because the way I see it, he behaves just like Aubameyang. And what happened to Aubameyang?
With way less talent. Let's be clear about that.
With way less talent. That is what not people see, and people should not even be surprised if we get Madueke and we don't even get Rodrigo and we get Eze. And you should not even be surprised that at the end of the season there will come out a newspaper or a news about we couldn't fund Rodrigo because of the other two deals. You should not be surprised.
Would you sacrifice? Would you? Because I know you're saying like we'll end up with Nani and Eze.
Yeah.
Would you gladly get rid of those two signings just to get Rodrigo instead?
No. I would have gotten Eze and Rodrigo. But now there's a problem in the way. Remember, Arsenal is a very financial club. If something gets in our way, we will go away. We will stand by our standards. We will never go away from our standards. And that is proof. There is proof there that Arsenal is a very beneficial club when it comes to standards. We will never cross over our standards. Let's say now, Fabrizio just came out with that we are ongoing talks with Sporting. But let's say now Sporting keeps on saying we want the 70 million and also refuse to give the 70 million. At the end, Arsenal will walk away. They will. And they don't care. I promise you that they don't care about our feelings, because at the end of the day, it's up to their decision, not ours, theirs. So
they definitely don't care, because if they did, they would never even get close to the signing ever.
Exactly. Exactly. And what I said in the beginning, it baffles me that Arteta wants Madueke. I can say that Madueke is not because he's a bad player, but it's because this year, we need a difference maker. We need someone to look at and say, yes, you're the one. Madueke is not the one. Madueke is not the one. That is the problem.
Right.
Every year, last year too, we did the same.
Yeah.
We needed a difference maker. Yet we waited and waited and waited, and we got Merino, Havertz, Sterling, and Neto, who was even cup tied. You see, sometimes Arsenal, they make us feel like we got something, and then boom, and if they've done this for 5 years, we as a fan base, we need to wake up. Because people devote their life to this club.
Yeah.
And if you do this continuously for 5 years, how do you feel the fan base will play out? How do you feel the fan base will play out?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Where do we go from here then? Like, I feel like, there's no split. Most people do not want this player. Almost everybody does not want this player. Do you think it's just a case of, okay, if it doesn't work out, then Arteta, this is the end of the road for you? Because I feel like we're already kind of there, but now the signings that you're bringing in are like, yeah, you
Yeah, yeah, because Arteta, for me, I think if Arteta, this signing doesn't work out, he will probably continue to, if because the Kroenkes, remember the Kroenkes have a lot of belief in Arteta. The Kroenkes have, before the Kroenkes bought Arsenal, they didn't have general knowledge around football because Arsenal is the first football club. Or I'm sorry, you're from America, aren't you? Yeah. Or they will call it soccer. This is their first soccer club. So this is the first general knowledge around soccer. So them going and buying these players left, right, and center, they think that, oh yeah, we give the money to this manager, he will solve it. But for 5 good years, he has not solved it. He have given us hope, but every time he gives us hope, destruction is on the pathway.
Yeah.
It's
We always
sometimes,
get so close, and
yeah,
then as soon as we get to like 99%, they do something that takes us back
yeah,
down to like 80%. I felt that
yeah,
way with Havertz. The whole last window did that to us as well. And now you're bringing in Madueke, and I'm just like, is this what you guys want? Do you guys
yeah.
always want to constantly be in a position where there's something that you need to get? Like, what is it? Because it just feels like, I don't know, like they're doing it on purpose at this
Yeah,
point.
and my thing, people have started saying, Berta is on fraud watch, but the thing is, Berta have come into a system where they're so um so hard on and so how do you say it, stuck on a way of thinking that it takes a lot just from one person to change their mind.
Yeah.
Look at how long, for example, the arguments between Gyökeres and Sesko, before even Berta stepped foot, Sesko was top number one from
Yeah.
the board to the scouts to the trainers to even just Cronky. But look of how much work Berta have got to do just to commit to one man forward, one man. And if he even tried to do that with Madueke, look at just how long that would drag out. Do you
Yeah.
think in heart of hearts that Berta, when he goes to sleep, then he thinks, oh, Madueke will be a nice signing for 50 million. 50
No, I
million.
definitely don't think
Yeah.
that.
And if you even look at Berta's forward signings, it doesn't make sense. What baffles me in my head, I'm trying every single way. I'm a football player myself, and I have football. I live in Sweden. I have football players or my friends playing for big teams, Malmo FF, if you know. And we try to speak about football a lot. So I sat here today in my home, trying to think of how could that work out, in which possible way, because I think that if we get Madueke and Eze, we are not getting Rodrigo. We are not getting Rodrigo, because tell me, we get Eze, Rodrigo, Madueke, even Ethan's plan will go out the window. And I don't think the club wants to sell Ethan because that would be
And they better not. They better
yeah,
not even think about it for a second.
no, because then I will crash out for real. I will crash out. I would crash out. And
Seriously. No, I
yeah, I will
agree.
crash out. I was fine with the other signings and us buying Noga. I'm Danish, so you say Noga when you say his name. Those players, but if we this summer sell Ethan, I think I might turn into another human being, but that's for another day. But,
No, there's just a couple of things that would make me just quit, and that would be Ethan. Like, I'm
yeah,
just sorry. I don't want to hear it, but I definitely agree with, what you're saying about how we get close and then they sabotage it in some way. And, I don't actually think that if we get Eze and Nani, there's any room for Rodrigo or they won't go for him. So that is incredibly disappointing. But listen, I do really appreciate, you coming on and having your say. I think a lot of people I saw in the chat were saying that they agree with everything that you're saying. So
Yeah,
yeah, you had some really good
but
points, and
I want
hopefully,
to.
oh, go
Yeah.
ahead. Did you
Sorry,
want to?
I want to say one thing about Jokeris. As I said, I'm also from
Oh
Sweden.
no, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you're
and
from Sweden, yeah.
yeah, and he played in an academy. It's called BP.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, the BP's the way they play the football is almost like ours. So he
Mm-hmm.
grew up in that system. So I can promise you one thing: he can, and I think he will. I think he will excel in our system. That's what I can promise you.
Yeah.
That's what I can promise you. The thing with Yako is he there's two pathways for him. He might excel or he might decel or get
Yeah.
worse. So that is the few things we need to worry about him. But otherwise, I promise you, he will be a good player. He will be a really good player.
Okay, well, that actually makes us feel a little bit better. But thank you so much for coming on. I do really appreciate you having your say, and hopefully we get to talk soon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Next up is Arsenal People Channel, and then Elijah Talks Football. I do want to say that there was questions backstage about whether or not it's just Arsenal fans. I would say it's not just Arsenal fans, but we want to talk about Arsenal stuff. So don't come on talking about nonsense, just Arsenal-based stuff. Like it's open forums, but yeah. All right, Arsenal People Chat, what's going on?
Yes, welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, no problem. So how are you feeling? What's going on?
Well, very disappointed at the moment, and
Yeah.
I feel we need to, like, as a fan base, we need to be more proactive, meaning like getting out there to the stadium or something and protest.
You're at the protest stage then?
Yeah,
Just
because
off of the back of
basically
Madueke or just in general?
both.
Both. Yeah.
Yeah, both.
Do you have
Definitely both.
where do you live? Like, are you in a position where you can go to the stadium or no?
I wish I was there. I'm in Jamaica right now, but
Okay.
all of these transfer news and being followed up in a lot of live podcasts with you guys
Mm-hmm.
give me
Yeah.
the intention leading me to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very disappointed about the way we're going forward, looking like we're going backward now.
Definitely feels like we're going backwards. I mean, there's really no positive about Madueke. I think I've asked like 10 people now, like, is there anything about this guy that's positive? And nobody has been able to find anything. How would you
It's
feel
very
like
negative. It's very
it is
negative
very negative, 100%? Do you think there's
because
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
because it's not that mainly because of the kid himself. It's basically how Arsenal approach the transfer window towards this kid. When we have the most important striker in front of us right now, just $5 million away to get him. And the crankcase is and Arteta and even Berta involved. I'm not gonna leave them out of it. The three of them involved, wasting $50 million and avoiding $5 million extra is so ridiculous right now.
Definitely.
So ridiculous. And I think the fans should go out there and make these guys know how much it hurt us to see you wasting money and time and effort right now.
Yeah, for sure. Is there any window that you could foresee that would include Nani that would make you feel like we're moving forward? What do you think still needs
Repeat that.
Like, if we still get Nani, it looks like we're going to get him. Is there anything that they can do in this window even with Nani, to make you feel like we're going in a positive direction? What else? What needs to happen for you?
Well, definitely is a no for me. And the reason why I'm saying even if we get that kid, it's a no, is what I was saying before. We're going from forward to backward.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have the most important striker in front of us. That's $5 million short, and we're putting up $50 million.
Mm-hmm.
And that don't make no sense. 50 million is way bigger than 5 million.
Yeah. Especially since we need the strikers
We
so bad.
definitely were moving from a 10 out of 10 transfer window going back to a 5 out of 10 transfer window.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how it looked to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the next kid that everybody is going crazy over, I'm not going to be disrespectful of that kid, is Eze. I think we have enough player can hold up the left side right now. We don't really need Eze right now.
You
Eze
don't
is
think we
just
need
making
Eze?
a name. Yeah, Eze is a good player,
Mm-hmm.
but he don't really make that real transition in the English national team yet. And I don't think he's a player that everybody internationally would say is a good player. We're looking for,
Really?
yeah, this is my opinion. I'm not really,
No, I'm listening. You're probably the first person I've heard say that they don't think
yeah,
Eze is
he's not really the player that make that international mark in the English squad as yet. He's just a normal Premier League player that lucky the other day to win a trophy. That's how I see it in my opinion.
What
So,
about Rodrigo? Like, is that a player that you feel like would make a
all
difference?
right, Rodrigo, the only problem to me, in my opinion, about Rodrigo, he's been a good player for Real Madrid,
Mm-hmm.
but the only problem for me is his price is too high. Is we need to come up with a 60 to 70 million bid for him, or 60 to 70 in that region. Right
60 or
now,
70?
I think Real Madrid is looking for 80 to 90 mil for him, and no,
Mhm.
that's not worth it.
Yeah.
Cause when I look at him internationally, because I look at players internationally, what they bring to the international team. So if you're not that good internationally, and you're not bringing success to your team internationally, that don't mean you can demand that price. Just take take an example from Ronaldo, R7. Take a example from Messi. Take a example from Luis Suarez. These guys been performing club internationally.
Well, I guess my question would be, because people are asking, like, what players are you looking at? If a player like Wirtz, who would fit your description of somebody that's performing for club and country, who's performed really well for Bayer Leverkusen, helped them win the league, and then also does really well for Germany. Germany's not the greatest team at the moment, but when they play well, it's mostly because he plays well. Musiala, goes for 120 something million. Basically Rodrigo is half of that. So does that, you know what I mean? Like it's the highest players, the players you're talking about are going for over 100 million. So
Yes, but
Rodrigo going for like 70, 80, is that not about where he should be at?
no. Again, internationally, Rodrigo is not a big time player. He's not that kind of player that you can say is bigger than even Neymar. If you look at Neymar and Rodrigo, they're at the same level.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying though. I'm like, the players you're talking about are going for over 100 million. Rodrigo's not even at the top scale of like what you'd be paying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they
So
are not performing. They are just putting out these um these wagers, like, yeah, we are good enough for 100 odd million or 200 million. All this money
So
is
you don't think Wirtz even should have been 100 and something million?
no way.
Okay,
No
okay,
way.
so that makes sense. If you don't think Wirtz is, that amount, so you're thinking the only players that should be at those amounts are the Messis and the Ronaldos and players like
Yeah,
that.
the
Also,
Ballon
keep in
d'Or.
mind though that Neymar went for 200 something million. So,
Yeah, and it does not worth it. It does
well,
not worth it.
fair enough. Fair enough. Well, listen, I want to get some other people on, but I do appreciate, your thoughts and feelings on this, and hopefully the next time that we talk, we're talking about some better things.
Give me a couple more seconds. I think if we
Couple more
focus, sorry about that, and sorry
seconds. Okay.
about that, fans. I think we should focus on Guy Carres, and if we do get Rodrigo, I think we should stop there, and the window will be perfect for us this season going forward. We don't need any more player, and we don't need to stop 1 year progress. So we need to stop at these two players and call it a spade a spade. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Jess, for having me.
No problem. You're welcome. Talk soon.
Yeah,
Bye.
yes, sir.
Bye. All right. Let's go to Elijah Talks Football. And I believe, Elijah, you're not an Arsenal fan, correct?
Correct. Sorry, Jess.
Okay. Well, are you a fan of a specific team? Are you neutral? What's your
Yeah, I'm neutral as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd love to know what your thoughts are about Arsenal's transfer window, the Nani bid going in. I'd love to hear an outside perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think Noni Madueke is a good player, but I don't think that he's the type of player that can, take you to the next level, which is, challenge for the league. So
wait a
it's going to
minute.
be very
Wait, hold on.
interesting.
Tell me the truth. Are you a Chelsea fan?
Mm-hmm.
They're saying you're a Chelsea fan. Are you?
Yeah.
You said you were neutral.
Yeah. I mean, I am a football fan as well.
Okay, no worries. If you're a Chelsea fan, it's fine. You're if anything, you would know Nani better than we would.
Yeah, of
So
course.
of course you're in enemy territory, but I still want to hear your opinion. So
Yeah, of
continue.
course. Yeah, so I think Madueke is a good player. The only thing that the problem is that Madueke's weakness is his crossing, and his decision making, So if I also think that Madueke is going to be a backup to Saka, then so be it. But I think that Ethan Ranieri needs more minutes for Arsenal because he's a special player. He really is a special player. And a couple of days ago, I saw reports that that Chelsea, I also signed Madueke and Ethan Ranieri coming to Chelsea, and I was really surprised about this because, listen, I like Ethan Ranieri, but I personally don't think he's going to come to Chelsea right now because he's a young talent. He's like 18 years old, and you need him in his squad. And I do get that he needs more minutes, but I feel like Saka sometimes gets a few injuries, and I think Ethan Ranieri will be a great backup to Saka, not Madueke. So I think for me that Madueke is a good player. He knows how to take players on, and he can score goals. But the only weakness is that his decision making and his ability to get inside the penalty box and make some crossing and find the teammates. That's the only problem I see. But
So the
for
final
50 million
action.
pounds, we'll see what happens. And it looks like he will be an Arsenal player because I saw that earlier today that the Arsenal players that will be traveling to the to the preseason, they've included Madueke. So it looks like that deal will be done. So what's your thoughts on it? And do you think, for me, that what you think Mikel Arteta will do? Do you think that he's going to be playing as a right winger or a left winger? Because for the past couple of, like, when he played as a left winger against Liverpool, he was really good. And I thought to myself that maybe that position might work. But so far, we tried to put him in, this FIFA Club World Cup, and he has been all right, but not been, the player that he was for Liverpool. But we did see him. I did see Madueke play for England when we drew 0-0 against I think it was Albania or something like that, and he was the best player. So do you think that Madueke will be playing more on the left or probably more on the right?
Honestly, Elijah, I really don't know because they're telling us one thing or the other. Like he's looked at as a Saka backup, but then now some of the reporting is saying that they look at him on the left. And I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, that they view him as an option on both sides. So I don't really know. You know, Arteta up until this point has only played inverted wingers. He plays a right-footed player on the left and a left-footed player on the right. If he were to play Nani on the left, that would be a departure from something that we've done for years now. You know, so that's quite different. I just honestly, it's hard to think past the Chelsea thing. If I'm honest, I'm maybe not giving him enough credit. Like you're probably the first person, funnily enough, to say anything positive about him, you know, at all. And I think from an Arsenal perspective, it's just he's a Chelsea player. I think there's also the attitude stuff, but I would love to ask you about that because his temperament for us doesn't feel like a good fit. You know, like what do you is it overblown, his perceived attitude problems, or is he somebody that does have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder?
I mean, I'm not saying that Madueke is not a bad player because he can score goals. Like, and the one thing I love about Madueke is that if that last season he when we faced Wolves, he said everything about this place is just awful, and he scored a hat trick and he proved himself. So, listen, so I think Madueke has a good attitude and he can, take players on and, and maybe score goals. But the only thing I'm frustrated about Madueke is that his decision making and his ability to take players on. And sometimes when he's on the ball, he just takes too long to shoot. And that's the one thing I'm disappointed. So when it comes to Mikel Arteta, I think that if he can, trust Madueke and get the best out of him, then I feel like he may be your best player because the thing about Chelsea and also we like to sell each other's players. Like we sold Jorginho to you guys and Jorginho looked really good for you. The same goes for Kai Havertz. He may not work for Chelsea, but Kai Havertz can score goals, but sometimes he can, miss some chances. So I think that's the same thing Madueke. So it depends what your Mikel Arteta can do. If he trusts Madueke can get the best out of him, then obviously I will be very disappointed if that happens. But we have seen it before, the likes of Jorginho, Kai Havertz, and we also let Kepa go to you guys. So and he's your backup as well. So and the funny thing is, Jess, is that Kepa was a backup against for Chelsea in the Champions League and won it. He was a backup for Madrid as well and won the Champions League. So my question is to you, Jace, is that since Kepa is your backup, do you think that Arsenal can win the Champions League?
I mean, I don't believe in the coincidences of oh, well, it took Klopp 4 years to win something, so it's going to take us 4 years, or, I don't really believe in that kind of stuff. I know that he was a backup for those, for you guys in Real Madrid and then won things. So we'll only win if we're good enough to win. Do you know what I mean? So but I don't actually have a problem with the Kepa signing at all. Like, I just think, he's a backup for us. He's Premier League proven and all that kind of stuff. So, and Raya's our number one. So I'm actually okay with that. But so will you give us Palmer? That's what Marco's asking. Would you be willing to give us Palmer?
Well, it's going to take a lot of money for us to sell Palmer, but he's not going anywhere. So, nah.
So you're not up for it? You're not up for it?
Nah.
Yeah. Is Ethan the only player from Arsenal that you would really want to take?
I mean,
you seem like you really like Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan. Yeah, I watch him for Arsenal. He's a really good player. Like when Arsenal needed him the most, he can really turn up. I remember the Newcastle game. When you lost 1-0, he came on and he was your best player in that game in the Carabao Cup. Away St. James Park. So listen, I think for me, and I did say it in my own channel that I think Ethan is a good player. He's young, but he's a good player. But like I said, I don't think it's going to happen, but listen, I'll take him because I feel like he's a better player than Madueke and also Estevao as well. So we'll see what happens.
Well, fair enough. Elijah, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to get to somebody else, but I really do appreciate it. And hopefully we talk again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jess. It's a pleasure speaking to you.
Of course. You're welcome. Talk soon.
Yeah, bye.
Up next, Colin. Hey, Colin.
Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, hi. Hi, Jess. Hi. It's a pleasure to speak with you. I've been a fan of your channel for the last 2 years. I watch you religiously, so it's a real pleasure to talk to you.
That's awesome. It's nice to have people that are like longtime community members and be able to hear their voices and stuff like that. But yeah, give us your say on everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously the Madueke issue is a hot topic right now. The Arsenal fan base is in a bit of disarray. But I guess I've just been thinking about. I think we find ourselves in a really unique position where Saka has just had his first big injury, right? And for years we've all been talking about the need to manage his minutes, the need to rest him more.
Yep.
But we're also kind of in win now territory. Now, if the rumors are to be believed, I believe we wanted Mbeumo at some point, right? But Mbeumo
Yeah.
has just come off the best season of his life, and he's not going to want to sit on the bench. I think the position that we find ourselves in is similar to the one that Spurs were in with Harry Kane, or even the most extreme example of this was kind of like Messi, right? The fact that other generational talents like Griezmann fell by the wayside, right? Because there just wasn't room to play both him and Messi in the same team, or there wasn't room to find an adequate backup for Harry Kane because nobody wanted to sit on the bench because he was so good. So you just went through all of these different players like that guy that ended up at Fulham. I think we find ourselves in a similar situation here. Now, I think I'm also thinking about what it costs to get a Premier League ready footballer, especially a Premier League ready attacker, right? I was just looking through some previous signings, like Harvey Barnes went for upwards of 38 million. Anthony Gordon went for 40 million. Alanga's about to go to Newcastle for 50 something. Isn't this kind of the going rate for a Premier League ready footballer? If not, if it isn't, then we're shopping in the foreign markets. Maybe you want to think about a player like Bakayoko or something, but there's no guarantee. We know that the step up to the Premier League is a big jump. I mean, look at the experiences of Chiesa, right? Chiesa signed for 17 million for Liverpool, didn't play a lot, right? Even when we think about Cody Gakpo, had a really good season, but it took him a year to bed in. So I'm just kind of thinking that we are in this unique situation where we need somebody who is going to either back up, rotate with Saka, but we also need to win now. And that brings us to a player like Noni Madueke. Now, for me, while I'm kind of in a similar boat to everyone, this signing makes sense in the context of our entire business, right? Like if we get him and Eze, makes sense. If we're getting just him, then I don't think that we will have improved significantly from last year, from last season, when we know that the attack is really what we need to boost to push us to the next level.
I mean, listen, you're giving me the little bit of copium, just a little bit. I'm
right.
Like, you're right. I just don't know. Like, I still am like so mad. Like, I don't know. But I said this on my stream a couple of days ago because I'm an extremely honest person. My main issue is that he's coming from Chelsea. I actually liked him at PSV. I actually thought when he was at PSV, I was like, oh, Spurs have let this guy go from their academy. He looks really good. Like, he's young. Why don't we take a punt on him? The Chelsea-ness of it all is really, I think, what's really messing me up with it. And I want to believe that we're not going to get the old bait and switch where they're saying he's the backup, and all of a sudden, first day of the season, he's starting at left wing. Do you know what I mean? It does not make sense for him to be our starting left wing, but do I trust Arsenal enough? I think that trust was so broken last summer that now it's just so hard,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat with you. Again, this is why for me it's just important to watch and see how this whole transfer window plays out. Because for me, getting Madueke is only palatable if we sign Eze or if we sign a Rodrigo. By the way, I do not think we will get Eze and Rodrigo. I think we're in one of those two categories. Honestly, I feel like there's a part of me that thinks go Eze, because I do see Eze as being able to operate from the left. I almost think about the days when we used to play with Cesc Fabregas and Samuel Nasri on the left. I think we need a secondary playmaker in this team, especially because we play so many low blocks. We need Odegaard and somebody else to help with that, almost in the same way David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne, or David Silva and somebody else who I can't remember at this moment. But I just think that the Madueke signing makes sense in the context of our other attacking business, right? And then just the other thing I wanted to say was just the commentary on his attitude. Now, I think about 2 seasons ago when Thiago Silva was talking about how, I think it was at the end of the season where Thiago Silva was talking about how unstable the Chelsea squad was and how they had to essentially build an extension to the training room in order to accommodate all the players. And I think if any of us here has worked in an organization where there's high volume and high turnover, that's bound to breed some instability. That's bound to breed a lack of camaraderie amongst employees. And I think that's really what this Chelsea squad has been. And I think a lot of the attitude issues that we've seen, for me, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt on that, just because Chelsea, for me, has been such an unstable place. And I don't want to take this into that direction, but I have to. I do think that Madueke, and I would just say players like Osimhen, players like Paul Pogba, I see this attitude label being attached to them in ways that I find to be quite unhelpful. Like if I think about Anthony Gordon, who was dropped for the last third of last season, right? And I think there were some issues there, with him and Eddie Howe. We've been linked to Anthony Gordon throughout this summer, and I haven't heard a single comment about attitude. So sometimes it just makes me wonder why these labels stick with players like Madueke and why we're not willing to look at it within the bigger context. Think about how unstable that Chelsea squad has been for the last, 2-3 years. You're here today, gone tomorrow. Nobody really has a clear idea of what their squad, of what their status or what their future in the squad is like, right? Look at how they forced Gallagher out of the club. So, I guess these are just some of the things that I'm sort of thinking about, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. And I think that, the attitude thing only surprises me because I know how Arteta is with his non-negotiables, but I know he's spoken to him, so he has to feel confident enough that he's not going to disrupt everything. The Chelsea of it all definitely is hard to get by, but as long as he's the right wing and we still get some other, like 2 other attackers, meaning Gyökeres and Eze, or whatever, I'll be okay with it. I think I just hope that he shows us instantly that he's a good player and he's at our level, because I think my thought around him is that he's not that good of a player, and I wonder if it's just because of the Chelsea of it all,
Absolutely. I would gladly say I dislike Chelsea more than Spurs, right? I grew up in the era where Spurs weren't really a competition for us, right? So I hate Man United first, but Chelsea's a close second, right?
Same.
So I do get the Chelsea. I guess I'm also thinking about it from the other point of view, right? Like I know that Havertz and these guys, they haven't gone on to be like rousing successes, but there is something to be said for the fact that Chelsea sell us players and also finish behind us, right? Like if we think about it, like last season, the season before last, playing Havertz at 9 pretty much saved our season, right? Like as a Chelsea fan, how do you watch that and see what you're playing? Think about what they might be thinking about the fact that we might turn Madueke into something of a 15-goal, a season player. So I guess I'm just trying to think about this more holistically and think about, why this move makes sense, because honestly it doesn't jump out to me, but when I do think about it just a little bit more pragmatically, it starts to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah. I need to channel your I need to program myself to think like you, because right now I'm just like my mind is just still gone. But I do really appreciate your way of thinking, and maybe tomorrow I'll be able to wake up and have like a different thought process. But Colin, I really enjoyed your call, and hopefully we get to talk again soon. And next time we do one of these, make sure you come on, okay?
Okay, I will. Thank you so much, Jeff.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hi. I think this is, I'm going to say Me Tech Gesh, or I think it might be Gesh. Is it Gesh?
Yeah, that's correct.
Gesh? Hi, Gesh. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I was just about to go in, and I saw you guys were live, so I thought I'd jump on. Nice
Yeah.
to see you, Jess. How
It's
you
nice
been?
to see you as well. I'm good. Beyond the Madueke stuff, I'm actually really, really good. And it's nice to put a face to the name because I see you in the chat all the time. But yeah,
Yeah, I
what's
popped
your
around.
what's your thoughts on everything?
The funny thing is, I'm from Holland. I live near Amsterdam, but
Okay.
nearly my whole life, of course, I supported Arsenal, but local team used to be PSV. So
Really? So you
Madueke,
have
I
a
think
first,
is yeah,
you know a lot about him then because you saw him.
yeah. And the major thing that I don't hear anybody talking about is what we struggled with at PSV, his injury record. Really,
Right.
really
Okay.
poor.
All right.
Because I think he can be a good player. He was pretty good at PSV in the big games against Ajax. You know, one of the big rivals. He was lethal. He was, banging 2 or 3 goals in a game. But his major thing is he would have a spell of good games, and then it's not like that he wouldn't play, but he was injured or
Yeah.
something that he couldn't play. So that's my major concern, and why I think 50 mil or something like that, what's quoted, is it's a waste of money because he's gonna be injured. He's gonna be sidelined a lot of the time,
Hmm.
from my experience from the player.
What about his like play style? Because I think since he's been at Chelsea, I don't think his injuries haven't been as bad, but I
Yeah,
couldn't even tell you like what his true strengths and weaknesses are besides his maybe end product. What do you think about like his playing styles or anything that he can add to the group in terms of, we know Saka's like an elite player,
yeah,
but we're looking for more maybe 1v1 prowess or whatever Martinelli's not giving. Can he
yeah.
add that to the team, or what do you think?
His main strengths were his ability to pass his man and his speed,
Mm,
and a pretty good shot with his right. Usually, that's how he would cut inside or go around, and then yeah, shoot at near the right post. So
yeah.
that was really his one on one. It was really really strong, really dominating a lot of the one on one duels.
Yeah.
So that's his main thing. Not really crossing or anything. So like that corroborates with what the Chelsea guy said. He really
Mhm.
is like somebody for in the box who can finish pretty well.
Do you see him really more as like a Saka backup, or do you think there's a chance he can play on the left?
He did play predominantly on the right for PSV, so I think they're looking at him as a Saka backup. And he
Okay.
was for PSV. It was his best play. His best position was on the right. He was
Mhm.
really lethal on that side. But
Why would
again,
Yeah, you just
injuries.
never really know, really, and then you're saying, like, the injuries as well.
Yeah,
Why would he agree to be a backup in a World Cup year? I think that that's, like, also kind of, like, throwing me away. 'Cause I'm like,
yeah.
"Why would
If
you
I'm
agree?" Yeah.
honest, and I hope this is gonna be like our next hour or Higuain, we get
You
linked to
want
him
him to
all the
disappear,
time,
don't you?
and then he's not gonna sign. That would
Yeah.
be nice because I don't see how. Because I saw the latest news that the valuation that they have a huge gap. I
Mhm.
think they want to pay up to 40, and Chelsea wants more than 50. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen
Yeah. You know what scares
unless
me though is they give us really good terms. So even if the overall fixed fee goes up, they'll be okay with us only paying like a small amount up front, which
yeah,
is what Arsenal like. And that's what I fear is Chelsea are not really like worried about getting a lot up front. Smaller teams need
true,
more up front to reinvest into their team right away. But Chelsea have so many players out there in the ether that are getting picked up left and right. So they'd be willing to just offload Nani for 50 million and give us those really good terms, like only 1 million up front. And that's what scares me about this. We started off with 40 million fixed with 10 million in add-ons. I could definitely see us going up from there and him becoming an Arsenal player. He's loving it and wants to come. I'm like, who else wants you? You know, I can't get over it. I can't
Yeah,
get over
it's
it whatsoever.
yeah, I think what grinds the most gears on most
Yeah.
fans is the price. You know, if maybe if
Mm.
it was 25, or 15, I'd be
Mm-hmm.
okay with it.
100%. Any thoughts on like Gyökeres? Either like I know that we're still trying to get him over the line. Was he your number one
Yeah.
choice? Did you prefer Sesko? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I'm with most guys. We need to win now, and
Okay.
you're gonna we and also because I saw James on AFTV made some really good points. We need something different, because we never have a plan B or like somebody we can just throw Shorn in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember Origi, at Liverpool used to be clutch, like something totally
Yeah.
different that would switch up everything. And
Yeah.
we had that for a while with Lacazette and Alba, but we never really
Like did it exactly.
upgraded or
Yeah.
went on
No.
from those, and that's what we're really lacking. So I think in that case, Gyökeres is a really could be a really good addition. But I
Mm-hmm.
have to, like many fans said as well, like especially in the winter transfer window, I really felt screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
like they just threw the season away. So I really have to see those kind of signings to come in order to really have faith that it's going to be a nice season, and faith that the board actually wants to do something. Because you
Yeah.
hear always a lot of critiques on Mikel Arteta, and I always tell people like Arsenal is a football club, but it's a business foremost.
Yeah.
So the hierarchy, they decide who goes in and who goes out, not the
Mm-hmm.
coach.
Yeah.
Even like Antonio Berta, he's a director, so even he has authority over Arteta. If he doesn't think Arteta's good enough, he's gonna be actually the one that be like, okay, we need to get rid of him. We need to do something different. We need to go in a
Yeah.
different direction. He's a director, so
Yeah, no, I hear that for sure. And I agree that like it's all nice to hear about these deals and these players that we're
yeah,
linked with, but until they are wearing the shirt, it's kind of just lip service. So we need to see whether or not the club is serious. And right now it's a little bit mixed, but I really do appreciate you coming on. We're going to go to Lei next, but
yeah,
hopefully the next time I do one of these, you come on again. I think everybody really appreciated your
yeah. Do more
insight,
often. That's pretty
and we love
nice.
seeing you in the chat as well. So yeah, let's talk soon.
All right, cheers.
Bye,
You
Gash.
have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too. Lay's up next. Make sure, Michael, I do see you. I'm just other people were in line, so we'll try to hurry things along a little bit more, you guys, because it is getting a little late. But let's keep them a little bit shorter so we can get to everybody on our way out of here. And yeah, let's keep it going. Hi, Lay.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How are things going with you? You're good?
Late out here, but it's going great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just have a few comments. One of which is that typically when things don't make sense to me, not just in football, just in life in general, my thing is to try and see the other person's perspective, right? So, we sit here, we criticize the team and all of that. And I'm thinking, okay, these guys are professionals. Why would they want to sign this guy? And that is, from the most objective perspective I can think of, they're not stupid. So at least we can assume that they're not. And
Yeah.
that's one. And two, that they, in their mind, they think they're making the best decision for the team. Now, so one thing that I can think of is that, with the injury that Saka had last season, that was a big injury. This past season, we played 58 games. I just looked. And my sense is that they may have decided that, you know what, even if Saka was available all season in the best
Yeah.
case scenario, there is a
Right.
limited number of games that he's going to have to play. So
Mm-hmm.
he cannot play 58 games. So that's one. I mean, that even takes into account that, there is the World Cup and then there's going to be international breaks, all of these other types of things. So my sense is, in the best case scenario, Saka is is fit all season. They're probably thinking it, and even in my mind, if you ask me, I would say he shouldn't play more than 40 games coming off of that type of injury. Now, which leaves the question: there's going to be at least about 20 games for someone to play, and which makes sense that they are bringing this guy in. Now, for me, I don't think is that bad of a signing at all. I think the backlash is a little overblown. And I will tell you why. And I would, so maybe you can understand my perspective a little bit. I tend to think that, at this level of professional sports, the gap between players are not as big as we think. But there are a lot of things that can push one player over the other. So when you talk about superstars, that's one thing. But for most of these players, the system that they are playing, the environment that they are playing in, all of these other things can make someone like Kudus look good. And then the next season, if he goes to Spurs, he may look nothing like he looked, when we like him. So, and that's what I think. My hope, and this is where the hopium comes in, is that
we need some. Bring it on, lady. I need some hopium. Come on, bring it here. I need it bad.
So I don't think, first of all, so like I said, I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's like a great player. I think he can be sufficient to come in. We playing against Fulham or something like that at home. Like, if you have Saka, you have Gyökeres, you have, I don't know, Martinelli on the left. I don't know that we can say, oh, we're going to lose that game because
Nani is playing.
Yeah. So my hope is that the team is actually good enough where you can absorb someone like this and can help elevate his game, because we forget that we're a very good team. I know that last season ended in a way that, it leaves a bad taste in our mouth. This is a very, very good team where we are all mad at how it ended, and we still came second. So if a few things goes our way, get the right signing in, the right forward player, Zubimendi, maybe he plays well, all of these other things. He may not be great, but for what he comes in for, it could be sufficient for to just keep a certain level that will keep the team moving forward. So that's my 2 cents. I mean, I hope I hope, and I think there's been such negativity around the team that I just want people to just bring it down a little bit. Like it's okay for us to bring it down a little. I totally understand, but I think there has been such negativity and a little bit, and I understand. It's because of, as people say, the PTSD, and people are scared. Like, we signed this player, does that mean this, and all of that stuff.
Right.
And all of those fools that have been sending nonsensical messages to Nani. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like,
of
just
course
let
it
that
is.
be. He may come, he may not come, we don't know, but we should just let that be. It's okay to express our frustrations with how. And one last thing, I think a big part of this as well is probably because the Gyökeres thing is stalling. I feel like if that looked like, oh, he signed, or like, here we go type thing,
of
I
course.
think people will kind of like, they wouldn't like it, but they probably would just ignore it a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think, the chat is definitely loving the copium that you're bringing to the stage. We're loving it. We are ingesting that copium a lot, So thank you so much. And it's also nice to put a face to the name, because I do see you in the chat quite a bit trying to give your 2 cents, and I really do appreciate it. But hopefully next time we do this, we're talking about something a lot better, and it's just nice to chit chat with you. And I hope you have a good night.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye, lady. Next up is Mark.
Hey, Mark. How you doing? Good to see you.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. And I'm trying to remain calm under the circumstances.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Do you have any copium for us, or are you just going to be...
Well, I'm glad I followed Lay, because I think hit the nail right on the head. And I don't want to repeat what he said, but just to use the Saka thing as an example, there's a lot we don't know. Like, for instance, we don't know perhaps if there are players who we've been linked with in the window who the club's already found out for one reason or another, price, salary, personal terms, or whatever, we can't sign. Or, for example, going back to Saka, they've watched him in training, and his explosion, because of his injury, isn't quite the same as it used to be. So getting somebody who can take a little bit of the burden off of him might be something that we need. So I'm not trying to say let's just put away our concerns, because 50 million for a guy who's a bench warmer at Chelsea, he may be great, and he may be great for us, and that would be good. And I would be eating my words and saying I shouldn't have been concerned about this and how much we paid for him, because if he scores 15 goals and assists 6 or 7, maybe that's
that's great.
But I am concerned about how much we paid, and I'm more concerned about how this influences our actions in the window going forward. So, for example, we're negotiating with Muneri right now, and if those negotiations are negatively impacted because we bought Noni Madueke, I'd be furious. Same with Rodrigo. I think Rodrigo is a great player. And for those who have said, I don't like Rodrigo, he's going down, he's been played out of position for the last several seasons. And his performance has reflected that. Would he, if he were put on the left wing, play really well for us? I think so. He's a great talent. So if we sign Noni Madueke and we can't get Rodrigo because we signed him, that would upset me too. We may never know, because it also might be true that the reason we signed Noni Madueke is because we heard that Real Madrid wants 90 million euros and we're not going to pay that. So I'm trying to withhold judgment. The question for me comes down to the people that we really like Eze and Rodrigo and Gyökeres and or even Mosquera. If we get people, if we fill the holes in our squad so that we have the depth not only to play a 38-game season in the Premier League, but also to add the competitions in Carabao and FA and Champions League. That's a lot of games. We need depth. I think it's amazing. I know I haven't let you talk, and I'm keeping rattling on.
No, this is your time. I'm taking in your copium.
But when you think about the fact that we finished in the semifinals of the Champions League and second place in the Premier League after all the injuries we suffered, that's nothing short of remarkable. But the reason we didn't make it over the line is because of all of the injuries we suffered and the absence of squad depth. So if Noni Madueke gives us some more of that squad depth, so instead of 18 ties and coming in second, we're battling for first place, that we make it over the line in Champions League and get to the final, I'm okay with that. And I struggle with the money. I struggle with what this is going to impact in the remainder of our window. But if it gets us over the line, I don't care. And I feel bad about the fact that we're helping Chelsea solve their PSR and FFP problems by putting 15 million pounds in their hands. But if it gets us over the line, I don't care.
Yeah, 100%. I agree, Mark. And I think you hit the nail on the head that we have to see what else happens in the window. And if we get those other things, it won't hurt as bad. And we did have really bad injuries. And I did say that I do want a right wing, to make sure that, if something happens to Saka, we're not just sitting there with nothing, or we're putting all this pressure on Ethan, or he can't play the position that he's meant to be playing. We just have to see what Nani's really like. If the wages are what they're saying it is, which is like 50,000 pounds a week, I don't know why he'd want to come and be a backup, but at those wages, I'm kind of good with it as long as we get the other things. So,
you mentioned Waneri too, and maybe the signing of Madueke makes it possible to encourage Waneri to believe that not only will he get some playing time, but he'll be able to get the playing time in his chosen position, which is in the midfield. And he's been saying for a long time, I'm not a winger, I'm a midfielder. And I'd love to know what Waneri can do for us when he's being played in his proper position and not when he's working as a Saka backup which is not his normal role.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%. Mark, thank you so much. I really did appreciate this. Hopefully next time we chat, it's for better reasons. But I do appreciate, your point of view, and hopefully we talk soon.
Thanks, Jess. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye, Mark. See you
Cheers.
later. Michael, you're up. All I see is a fan. Have you been on before? Hold on, you're muted. Hold on, let me unmute you. Oh, unmute yourself really quick. You're muted. You're still muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Good. Listen, I'm saying that it's my first time doing it with you, but I've been watching you for close to 2 years, and
Okay.
you really know us now.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, because sometimes I'm like, do I know Arsenal or?
No, you do well. You do well. Listen, listen, Jesse. Look, I have a different view, and if you go to my channel, the Arsenal Africa Network, you will see what I said about Madueke, that a lot of people are not taking recognize of. Look, I think this Madueke thing was started as a campaign on social media by a few people who have, like our colleagues on YouTube, who started the campaign of the frustration of us not getting a striker, and so they sort of drum home, and most of them have huge followers. So it's sort of sink in, and people are not, as it were, trying to sit down and analyze. So everybody's like running with it without, that's what we do as football fans. Because some channels said, "Oh, Madueke, why?" I'm telling you now, most people don't even know the player, what he can do, and the fact that he's been playing for Chelsea and is not up there. That means that's the end of him. He's 23, am I right? 23, 24.
Yeah.
Is it 23 or 24? 23 years old. There's a lot ahead of that young man. And let me give you a history background. Gareth Bale, he was a flop at his former team. Our own Dennis Beckham was also a flop. Thierry Henry at Juventus was nothing to write home about. Listen, I can give you the list. Maybe one day we'll find time to do something, and I'll give you a list of players who turned their life around and became world-class stars, because we were given the opportunity. Let me tell you why Arteta is signing this player. This is a different player, and people are saying he is Saka's backup. I don't think so. You see, we have to be in the technical room to see and analyze what they have seen. This is a different kind of player. We are playing how many matches in the league? And there are places where when we go, you see, at a point in time, Saka's play, he's going to be on the right, not on the left. Don't mind that. He's going to be on the right, and you play matches that Saka won't play. Don't forget that Sunderland is back in the team, and going to Sunderland away is a very tough match, and they play tough. This guy is huge, he's strong, and he's a direct player. What he would bring to us now is that we don't have forward line, apart from our defense, that have some strong people like Gabriel and the others. We look at a player like Martinelli. When you push him a bit, he's falling off. Saka does well. He can, hold his stance when he's shouldered. But most of our forward liners are feeble. This guy is powerful. He reminds me of Chelsea's Maluda. And look, when you say you want to win the league, and you do not have an alternative player, I'll call him an alternative player. He's not Saka's backup. You see, we should stop that. This guy is equally young. He can come in and do well. Who tells you because he has been a Chelsea player? This Chelsea team, Jesse, this Chelsea team from the last 2 years was never stable. Their philosophy was not spot on. They changed managers until recently. They got it right and they were able to qualify for the Champions League. And see the way they jubilated. Well, nobody expected them to do that well. You understand? So most of these players don't have their heads on. And Arteta is a different kind of manager. He will change this young man. He will bring pace. He will bring power. And look, let me tell you, Saka cannot play all the matches. You see, I was talking to an expert who's a medical doctor where I am, and he was talking to me about hamstring. And a serious hamstring recovery can take months and sometimes up to about a year. Don't forget, when you see a player playing after hamstring injury, it's not fully fit. So if you don't have the technical eye to see what Saka's problem is, look, all the matches he played before the season ended, you could see that he starts very well. At the end of it, he slows down.
Yeah.
He can't play all the matches. Listen, Newcastle away, we will need Madueke. He's a strong player.
Yeah.
You can't bully that young man. And he's a dribbler. He's not afraid. He will move in. And I'm telling you, all what we are doing, and most of us are doing to him, I think he's hearing it. He's seen it. Arteta will tell him, come and prove them wrong. Come and do. And you see, African players have this mentality. Of course, he's a British player, I know, but he has this African origin. And you know how we are. We don't give up. So I know he's hearing this negative vibe and he's going to do well. Arsenal win the league. We need alternative strong players.
Yeah.
We need people who know the Premiership. He knows the Premiership. He's powerful. He can play West Ham away, Sunderland away, all those matches that, of course, when Saka goes to Man City, he will play the kind of football he wants to play because they will allow you to play that kind of football. But there are teams that, of course, you remember Stoke City. If a team like,
tough.
You cannot go to Britannia Stadium and go and play the same style by, trying to be a skillful player. No, Madueke brings a different thing, and let us see. Arteta will use him differently. I am positive for this signing because I can tell you from my checks, they are buying Gyökeres, they will buy Eze, and then there's one more. Rodrigo, I'm not sure because you see this rumor flying everywhere about him. Nothing has been said by the hierarchy. Nothing has been said about him. This Rodrigo rumors is from some portals. Nobody has. This is what we've been doing to ourselves. When Arteta has said nothing, somebody said, "Let me put out a disclaimer." People are going around saying, "Oh, Arteta's player is Cisco. Arteta prefers Cisco and Better prefers Gyökeres." Lies. Somebody cooked it up. Arteta has never granted any interview. And so people are putting the narrative, Gyökeres is Better's player, not Arteta's player. Look, if you're a football fan, some of us have started watching football from the 1970s. You can't buy, as a football director, you can't buy any player without the manager's consent. Who is going to manage the player? So what do they mean by Cisco is Arteta's choice and Gyökeres? So this is what you are doing and sending narratives out there. Don't mind them. There are few people I know who started this Madueke agenda and it is going viral. I want to assure, look at my age, I'm not that young. I want to assure the Arsenal fans, don't let us do it. We did the same thing to Havertz. Havertz flop from the beginning. It's all about this negative vibes. We made the guy so scared that he needed to take a penalty from the captain before he was able to gather his confidence. Why do we do that? Because he's wearing a Chelsea shirt, he cannot become, Arsenal player? Is that what we're saying? Some of these players, for all you know, he's even an Arsenal supporter. How do we know? Do we know about him? He could be a childhood Arsenal supporter. And that's what we've seen over the years. Some of these players have preferences. Look, let me tell you, let us calm down. We'll get our targets. What Arsenal is trying to do is to also give us some excitement. You see, people don't know. Football is like entertainment. They want to put the icing on the cake before we get to the the preseason. Gyökeres will come in, Eze will come in, another player will come in. I'm not sure it's going to be Rodrigo, but I'll tell you that Madueke will play some of the tough and difficult matches. He's direct. He's not afraid to take you on. Saka has been found out by some of our defenders in the Premiership. They know his style of play. He goes in and cuts in. This guy is direct. He's powerful. You can't shoulder him off. He will fight. He's a fighter. I told you that the kind of matches we play. We want to win Carabao Cup. We want to go and play FA Cup. We'll play the prelims of the Champions League. There are a lot of matches Saka can play all. So what are we saying? What are we saying? Do we want a player who is much more rated than Saka, so he'll come and bench Saka? Is that what we want? This is an alternative. He can't be an improvement. He can even come and do better than Saka. We don't know his future. Let's give him a chance. Salah was a flop at Chelsea. Look at him now at Liverpool. So we have all the stats, and I'll give you names of top players, who were flops, including Zidane. People don't know the beginning of Zidane. Let us tell you the history. Let's give him a chance and allow Arteta to work. Look, Jesse, I know a lot of people are in, and let me give chance to the others who want to speak. We'll do it again. And let me assure the fan base in Africa that us now, we are many in Africa. And I tell those in UK, especially the YouTubers in UK, take it easy and don't take us for granted. Because we in Africa are many. And you ask Robbie, he's been here a couple of times. The fan base in Africa, people have no idea. We are many than all those who gather at Emirates. And don't take us for granted. And I am an African channel, and I know what I'm talking about. So let us be calm. Let us respect the hierarchy. The Cronkies and Arteta and Better, they know what to do. Don't let us crack heads. People are trying to hit them against each other. Better's choice, Arteta's choice, it's all a myth. There's no way Better can buy a player Arteta does not want. There's no way. Don't mind the YouTubers, it's just for content creation. There's nothing like Gyökeres is Arteta's hate player, and he didn't want him. There was nothing like that. Arteta doesn't talk about people's player. He's never mentioned anywhere. This is a myth. It is coming from some names I won't mention here, but I know who started this agenda, and this is what they are doing. They are trying to, and sometimes when the euphoria started coming, I heard somebody saying, oh, this is Arteta's, this is Better's choice, not Arteta, trying to take Arteta's shine out of it. Look, this is a good signing. Let us be careful not to dampen the spirit of the young man. You see, when a player is coming to a team, he may have conversation, Arteta may have conversation with Saka and a few others, England players who know him, and maybe the player himself has expressed with it and said, Arteta, I have something in me. I want to play under you. I want you to change me. I want you to bring something out of me. He's a young man at 23. Arteta can use him differently. And you see, when a player comes into a crop of players, classic players like Declan Rice, like Gabriel, like Saliba, Saka himself, he would do well because even at training, he's playing with top class, better players than the Chelsea players. So environment is important, new setting is important, new manager is important, and new euphoria is important. We will do it again. Love you and keep it up. Jesse, have a good evening.
Much. I appreciate it. Bye. That call was so good. That was the copium that I needed. Like now I'm like, yes, he's gonna be a good signing. Let's go to Teo. Is it Tayo or Teo?
Tayo.
Tayo. Okay. Hi, Tayo.
Yes, Tayo. Yes, yes.
How are you gonna follow up that copium?
I'm telling you, big up to Uncle Michael, big up to Uncle Michael. That's big. I mean, I don't even know what to say now because you just said so many positive things, like really glad in my heart because when I first called in, I did, and thanks for doing this show, Jess.
Of
Just
course.
to say, I love your channel. I love everything you do.
Thank you.
Little secret, I'm January 10 as well, so I feel that special connection. But yeah, I just love your show. When this Madueke stuff started and everyone started going on about it, I said, "Oh, let me call," because I think the start of the show was very negative. That's the way I thought. I thought,
Yeah.
oh, just is crashing out a bit. Let me see if I can just come in and say my little positive piece. But after there was a call, I think he, for some reason, he thought Asia wasn't going to be good for us or something. I can't remember exactly everything he said,
Yeah.
but he just thought, no, we shouldn't be going for AJ. And I thought, oh, that no, no, no. So I said, I must talk now. But then, obviously, since then, there's been a few calls, I think about 4 or 5, and they've just been positive, positive, positive. And I said, wow, they've said most of the things I wanted to say. So I'll just come from one angle. If you thought of the whole market, Jess, in terms of the transfer window, did you think we were going to actually get 7 players? Because that's
No.
what it looks like we're trying to get exactly. Um, so I just think of the difficulty of that. Like Adu was never. Can you imagine if Adu was in charge of this window? There was
Mhm.
no way we're going to get 7 players. We'd be lucky to even get 4. But somehow, so I'm just rating better. Like it's not done yet, but you can see where they're
Yeah.
trying to go. Like the pinching pennies here, moving bits around here, doing some bobbing, some weaving, just doing a bit so that they can get like pack up the squad because we're down numbers in certain areas last season. So
Yeah.
think about it. When Saka got injured, it was Waneri, and okay, Waneri we know he's a star, we know he's got a lot of potential, but I'm sure like in terms of actually having a proper winger, Waneri probably doesn't see himself as a winger. And
Yeah.
at that level, at the Premier League, you probably want someone like Madueke. You probably want someone like Madueke. And if you think about it, in terms of putting things together, you don't want someone who's actually on Saka's level because if someone's on Saka's level, they're not going to want to come to Arsenal
You can't
to
also be able to afford that player. Like when we're talking about Saka's level, we're talking about players that are just not. We're not getting Salah type. We're not.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So I think Madueke is perfect. I don't, to be honest, I don't know how they go about sort of choosing targets, but I'm sure the
Yeah.
computers have put up Madueke. He's almost the perfect profile for what we need because it does it differently from Saka. Like I've seen Madueke take on. I actually liked him when he was at PSV, and I didn't know why we didn't go for him. And I
Yeah.
think it's one of those ones where he's probably been on our radar for a while, and then Edu probably wasn't alert enough, or Edu wasn't agile enough to pick him up when he was available. He's gone to
Yeah.
Chelsea, but we still like him. And all the stuff about the attitude, and I don't buy all that stuff. All that stuff for me is just agendas. It's just everyone does their thing differently. I don't actually know what he's done. Like maybe he's done 1 or 2 things on the pitch people don't like and things like that. I don't know much about him socially, but I just think for that profile, I think he'll suit us. It'll be perfect for us because if you think of the way Saka and Odegaard connect on that right hand side, if we bring in Noni Madueke, we can actually rest Saka and Odegaard. You know, we can actually play Ethan Wareri and Madueke, and they can
Together.
form a partnership. So it's just options. Like there's going to be about 70 games if we're successful next season. So we're not going to have Odegaard play every game. I mean, I got tired of Odegaard last season, even though he's a top player, but he's just playing too many games. These guys get injured, they come back, they can't get enough rest because they've got to be in there.
Hmm.
But Ethan Wanelli and Madueke can take some games together and they can ball out on the right hand side. And it'll be something different. It'll be totally different from what we've seen from Odegaard and Saka. But trust me, Madueke and Ethan, they can ball out on that right and it'll just be a different option. You know, they'll definitely have combinations. They'll go past the men, they'll drop in, they'll cut in from that right hand side, they'll put some defenders on the backside. It'll just be something different. So I'm not that bothered about the Chelsea connection, to be honest. When I was coming up, Chelsea was we used to, you know, we used to have Wanko Kanu used to score, from the byline, drop them, and before Roman Abramovich came, I never worried about Chelsea. But
Yeah.
Chelsea's a big team now, the big club now. I give them the respect, but I still don't. I don't have that complex with Chelsea. He's just a player for me. And if we get him in, we just get him in. And it's about what we make of him. Because obviously he's not happy at Chelsea, or else he wouldn't be talking to us. So let's make something of him. And to me, the icing on the cake would be if we make something of him. And then the banter goes away, because I think a lot of the online stuff is just about banter. People think, I think it's the banter. People get too emotionally wrapped up in the banter, and Chelsea pointing like, ha 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 ha, you go Madueke.
Yeah,
But if we
for
if we think
sure.
of it from a business point of view, Madueke is a solid player. If we can steal him from Chelsea, you know, maybe he's not fulfilling his potential. And if Arteta sees something in him, then why not do it? Because if you think of someone like Gyökeres or someone like Sesko, I think Sesko was going to be some type of project anyway. So if we're not going to get Sesko, then if you give Madueke, Arteta still gets his project. So because I think Arteta needs a project every window or something.
He
So just
loves the project. He lives for a project. He should go back to school so he can do projects,
yeah,
with teachers and stuff. But no, I get it. I mean, I think it's just all about if we're actually able to bring something out of this player and what position he's actually going to play as a backup or an alternative to Saka. Yes, as the left wing signing, I'm a lot
nah.
less excited about
Nah,
that.
nah. For me, that's easy. Nah, for me, that's easy. I don't
Yeah.
want no Rodrigo talk. I'm sorry, I'm not into the Rodrigo stuff. I know it
Really?
sounds bad. Yeah, no, I don't like. I don't like us chasing players that we need to get players in preseason. If we talk
Yeah.
to Eze, if he's happy, bring him in. The only
Yeah.
time Rodrigo comes in is if we sell Martinelli. Because to me, it's just like we're fooling around. We're not really serious if we start talking about Rodrigo stuff. Because Rodrigo and Martinelli, that drama is going to be too much. If Martinelli is not talking to Saudi, then let's just keep him and we move on Trossard and we bring Asia in. Because Arsenal are not going to bring in 8 players, I don't think. So we need to get Eze in.
Yeah.
We need Eze. I think for me, if there's a choice between Eze and Rodrigo, then I choose Eze. And then if we're getting rid of Martinelli, then bring Rodrigo in. But you're not going to have 2 players that are playing the left for Brazil. It's just going to be too much drama. Walk up here, Martinelli and Rodrigo in the same team. It's just going to distract from what we're trying to do. Keep Martinelli. Martinelli is going to play some games. Eze is going to play some games on the left. Sometimes Martinelli is going to start on the left. Eze is going to start left 8. I reckon Eze can play 15 games at left 8 and 10 games on the left wing if we bring him in. Because they need to rotate the team as well. Nogard is going to get some games. There's those ways that we can rotate the team. We don't want anyone playing more than 32 games, even in the league. We need to really like squad management, load management, all those things. And I think that's what Better is looking into. That's why he's getting 7 players because it's like he's probably looked at all the data, everything we've done in previous years, and it doesn't, from his perspective, he's going to be thinking for a team like Arsenal, it doesn't make sense what we've been doing. So he's trying to load up the numbers and he's loading up the quality. I know we might say, oh, kept out 5 million, but that's quality. Not good is quality. If not good gets to play, if not good plays against Sunderland, not good plays against some other of the relegated teams, and maybe plays against 1 or 2 other teams, plays home and away, that's 10 games. Not good can play. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So Zubimendi is not playing all the league games. Zubimendi is playing more Champions League games. So there's a way we can balance it where everyone gets to play a bit here and there. Rice as well. Rice is not going to play all the games at left 8. Like I said, I think someone like Ave should be playing more games at left 8. But Rice can still play 15 games at left 8 as well. And then Merino picks up some games at left 8. Like, again, it's just how they balance it. But
Yeah.
for me, we need someone like Ave in there. Because Rodrigo, I think, for what we're trying to do this year, I only think of Rodrigo if we sort of get rid of Martinelli, to be honest. If
Me
not, let Martinelli and AJ fight it out on the left. Different horses for different courses. And it just depends on how smart Arteta is. So how flexible it is.
Yeah,
So I'll use
no,
one of
I
the
agree. I
because they're
agree.
trying to get many tools for him Monday. Yes.
Yeah. No, I get you. No, but I think understanding that we need to balance the team a little bit more and figure out ways to take minutes off of certain players. There's more than enough room for more players to come in. And so I totally agree with that. But listen, I'm gonna get to Cal next, but it was so nice
Thank
talking
you.
to you. And hopefully
No,
the next time,
brilliant. You've been great.
yeah, we're
Love
talking
your
about
show. Love what you do.
you so
And
much.
you
I really
definitely know Arsenal.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's talk soon.
All right.
Bye. Couple more guys. I'm gonna go to Cal. Hey Cal, what's going on?
Hey, what's up? Hey Jess. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing
Well,
well.
we're trying. We're
You're
really trying.
Listen, the last couple of calls gave me just a bit of
Yeah.
copium. Just a bit
Yeah.
of copium. Do you have more
Yeah.
copium for me, or are you
I'm
gonna
not a copium guy. I'm sorry.
no copium from Cal? Okay, well
No,
what's
nah,
going
because
on?
I and it's not just for me. I actually really think about the team a lot, like in
Same.
trying to figure out how the Madueke thing works. And I think a lot of what the previous caller says makes sense in isolation, but I personally think that there's like a two-sided coin to the Madueke thing. I think first off, people just don't like to buy players from Chelsea, which is okay. But I'm not one of those guys that was actually even mad at the Kepa thing. I thought that was a great signing.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's just a backup keeper. I'm tired of buying keepers. Tired of talking about keepers, and he's 5 million release, easy, nice and quick. I love that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care if he was a Chelsea player or not. Problem with Madueke for me is I feel like it just funds Chelsea's ambitions. I would have loved the Gittins. Like, I don't know why we couldn't. Like, why do we have to like get Madueke? Why couldn't we have because for me personally, I don't believe we're getting another winger if we get Madueke.
Okay.
Like, I think Madueke is the winger. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
And
But can he
just
even
because of
really
the
play on the left though? Like, I mean,
no, that's what the reports were saying. They were saying, he doesn't actually mind playing on the left, and I think he's gonna be, Martinelli and Saka backup. You know what I'm saying? And his price tag, I just can't see us buying him and another winger. I think it's him. I don't think he affects Eze. I will say that. I think Eze is a separate thing. But and for me, it's not even about. I think what upsets me about this whole situation is the fact that we're not even trying for Rodrigo, because for me, Rodrigo is like he'd be perfect for us. Is what we need. It'll solve, because that left wing is such a massive problem for me on that left wing side, because it's all Saka, and it's kind of a little bit unfair. He is our creative player. He is our goal scorer. He is everything. And we've seen from last season, we've seen all the pictures with everyone overloads on that right hand side. So for me personally, I thought a left winger was just as important as a striker coming into the season. To be honest, if we got Gyökeres, a left winger, and Zubimendi, and our window ended, I would have been gassed.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Mascaras are nice, the Norgards are nice, and we're filling up the squad. Those are really, really nice things.
Yeah.
But for me, I was willing to take the risk if we just got, someone exciting on that left-hand side, Gyökeres or whoever as a striker, and Saka. So we're
high
balanced.
quality attacking signings.
Yeah,
Plus
because
right.
yeah, because even for me, like, I think I really want Gyökeres. He's my guy. And the more I hear about how he's tweaking for Arsenal, the more I want him. I think he's just going to run through brick walls for us, and I think he's going to score a lot of goals. And that's still too right leaning. It's still too right leaning. I want you to be scared of our left hand side, dude. Like, I need you to be thinking about that left. And I don't know if people realize that's why PSG is so good, because you have Due on the right and you have Kava on the left, and they don't know what to do. Like,
And
as
then they can
soon
bring
as
in
you,
Barcola.
and as soon as you try to squeeze Kava, like they just switch it up, and then it's a 1v1, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think we have a team that's capable of doing that, with the Zubimendi signing as well. And I feel like if we got Rodrigo, we would just we'd be unstoppable. Like, I'm sorry, we'd be so hard to deal with, because I think Saka is like one of the best. I think he's top 3 right wingers in the world. That's just how I feel about him.
Same.
In terms of his he's not a fancy guy. He's extremely efficient. He gets the job done, and you cannot ignore him. People like clowning on Saka or rivals, but there's a reason he gets triple teamed every single game, because that's how you stop Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't. If we got rejected by Rodrigo, it's like, okay. Like, if we got rejected by Rodrigo and then we go in for go in for Madueke, I'd be like, okay, we try. But I feel like we should be trying, That's why I'm upset
I want
about
to
it,
get
because
rejected
yeah,
before
it's
we do
like if he
anything
says,
else.
okay, I want to go to Liverpool, or I want to go to Bayern or
Yeah.
PSG or whatever, then I'd be like, okay, we tried. But the fact that we're just going, hey, and the problem is, a player like Rodrigo probably is available like this probably once every 5 years. Like, let's be honest. Since Arteta's been here, I think the only left wing of his quality that became available was Kvaratskhelia, that we missed out in Jan. I can't think of another left winger. And even Kvaratskhelia wasn't this bona fide. Like, we know he was good, but he went to PSG and we realized, okay, he's really, really good, But we know Rodrigo is like a top, like, S tier talent, and someone like that just is not available.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I think we should be trying, because this is the market opportunities I think that we should be going for. I personally believe this is what I thought at the beginning of the season, that we almost had like a Rodrigo fund. I thought he'd be like a separate thing. I thought we'd have our targets, but if something like this pop up, we would kind of make the effort in to like kind of break, because it's not something that you can really predict, and it's something that you kind of need to go in for. This is a real proper market opportunity.
It is.
And Madueke, like I said, it's like, I feel like it's just feeding Chelsea, and I don't want to feed Chelsea, because they're closing the gap on us. I don't want to give them money. They're buying like 8 players every window. I don't want to take their players. And the reason why I'm upset is, like, I know there's a lot of things. If the X player comes into Arsenal, we can, it's a better team, and we can do all this stuff. It's like, dude, I want to be saved, bro. Like, I want to be saved.
I'm not saving people. Save me.
Like, save me, please. You know what I'm saying? Like, like when Eucharist is coming in, I feel like, oh, you're saving me. When Zubimendi comes in, I'm feeling you're saving me. When Madueke comes in, I'm saving you. I'm saving your career, dude.
For real.
I need a hero. Like, please, I need someone to come in and save my club. Like, I don't want to save you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel about Madueke. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I have to squint too much to feel good about it. I don't want to squint anymore. With so many players, I feel like we've had to do that. Like, well, if you look at the underlyings and the upside, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm just trying to see somebody come in and it just be obvious, and we're just happy
cook,
about
man.
it. 100%. I agree.
And the thing about the Eze, people saying, oh, we need to sell Martinelli to get Rodrigo and stuff. No, we don't. We need bodies in here. Like, Trossard's like flirting with Benfica. I don't think he resigns. And we need more. We need more men. Like, people are like, even if Eze comes in, people think he's like 6 players. People are saying, hey, he's gonna be back up for Odegaard. He's gonna play on the left 8, and he's gonna be left wing. It's like, dude, he's one guy. Like, I love Eze, but there's probably like 1 or 2 roles that you want him to be playing. You don't want him to play as Odegaard backup, as Declan Rice backup, and as a left winger. And I don't think we're bringing him as an out and out left winger either. I think he's more of a midfield option and maybe a left wing sometimes. That's what I got from him when they are saying he's separate from the Madueke thing. So I think we need another winger, and I don't think the answer is Madueke.
I mean, I agree. I think he's just such a left field kind of something that we were never really expecting, and so he has so many negatives against him that I think it's hard to even like muster the copium. It's just so weird. But hopefully, even if we bring him in, we can find a way to get something else in there. But I am getting like that gut feeling it's going to be Eze, Gyökeres, and Noni, and that's not Rodrigo.
No, it's not. Please try. Like, please. Like, just say no. Just tell me no, and I'll leave.
100%. Reject us first, and then we can go from there. But look, Hal, I really do appreciate, you calling in and giving your 2 cents. I really appreciate it. I have seen you in the chat quite a few times, and so hopefully I see you in the chat again, but also when we do this again, that you come on, because I really appreciate your point of view for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Say do.
Hello, Jess.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good.
Are you at
I've been
work?
following. Yeah, I'm at work now. I've been following you for the past 3 to 4 years.
Really? That's
Yeah.
well, thanks for sticking around. I know sometimes that could be a little much, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. For me, my own feeling is like it's only because the player is coming from Chelsea. That's all. But Madueke is not a bad player. Yeah. Because we fund Chelsea all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's my only issue I have with the signing. But Madueke is a very good player. I believe he will add quality in our squad. Last season we suffered so much because of squad depth.
Yep.
And even the past 2 seasons also. If you remember the first season we challenged, when Saliba have injury and Gabriel Jesus, we suffered because 2 of them, Saliba used to be our best center back at that time. When he have injury, we suffered. We lost the lead to City.
Yeah.
It happened again the following season also. So we need squad depth. And I believe this window we are going to sign. Believe in me, we are going to sign 8 players.
8 players? Really?
8 players.
Okay.
8 players.
That's a lot of players.
I don't know if you listen to one of the interview for Timber. They asked Timber. Timber said plenty of players going to come this year. We are going to have plenty of players. So I believe we are going to have Eze. Eze is going to come. Yokai is going to come. The mascot signed that the defender from Valencia is going to come. And I believe Rodrigo. Is going to come.
Okay.
Yes, I believe. Yes.
Okay.
This Madueke is just for depth, like for Saka.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
So you actually think Madueke is a good player?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I watched you this afternoon. You're so angry, I understand. Me too, I was so angry, I was so angry just because of we always reform Chelsea. 50 million is a lot.
It is.
Yeah. But I believe Madueke is a very good player, Jess. One caller was just talking here. If you have one of our best players, Tereni, when he was playing for Juventus, he's a flop there. When he comes to Arsenal, he's our best player. Dennis Beckham. For Inter Milan also. Inter Milan. He was a flop at Milan. Inter Milan. When he come over to Arsenal, he's one of our best players. Even when he started to play for us, it takes him some time for him to gel into our team. But he ended up to be one of our best players. Player like Mohamed Salah for Chelsea. Chelsea sold him out. He went to Roma. Then he come back now. He's a legend. He's the best player, one of the best players in the world.
This is true.
Player like like this one also. This player, this one for Man City also. He used to be flop again for Chelsea. They sold him out. Kevin Bruni. He came again now. Look at him. So I believe Madueke is still young, 23. I understand the frustration. Even me, I'm suffering because of the money, just because it's coming from Chelsea.
For sure. Definitely.
Yeah. You see, because Chelsea, they are buying young players. Then again, I believe one thing that is happening again we Arsenal, we are so emotional. We are giving the rival fans opportunity for them to banter us all the time,
Yeah.
We cried so much. We have very good team. And I believe Arteta is going to deliver for us. I trust Arteta. Because I know where Arteta takes us from.
Yeah.
After when I left, we suffer so much, They banter us for how many years? From 2003.
Yes.
From 2003. When we left Ivory in 2006, we started to suffer. We sell our best players. But now look at the team. So I believe Arsenal is so strong. We still have very, very good squad. And this Nordgaard signing, I'm telling you, he's going to be one of our best players this season. Nordgaard's
going to be one of our best?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Nordgaard.
Okay, no, that's cool. Like, I haven't really thought of Norgard as being one of our best players, but listen, if you think so, I believe you. I believe you for sure.
It's going to help us. Norgard is a very strong player, so very hard player also. You know whenever we play Bradford, they always gave us problem.
They did give us problems. You're right.
They always gave us problem. So team like Newcastle, they always bully us. They always bully us. This their Brazilian midfield. What is his name? Bruno and yes, they always bully us. So like player like Norgard is going to help us in that midfield. So I think Arsenal this season is our season. We are going to surprise in this season. So let's cool. David Yost said, let us chill. That's what he said. He said, Arsenal fan, we have 8 players. 8.
8 players. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want that to happen for sure. And I do appreciate you coming on while you're at work. I really appreciate it. And yeah, you guys, I think you gave the chat some positivity. So we love that. Thank you so much for coming on. And hopefully next time we talk, it's for a better reason.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. All right. I know there's some more people waiting, but listen, we've been on here for a million years and I'm tired now. So Nivek, thank you so much for your super chat. And you say Netflix FC back at it. Hopefully next season is our season. Sorry for the people that are still waiting. Aiden, Gunnarola, Tyrell, and Williams. We've been on for about 3 hours and I am so tired. But hopefully next time I do one of these, you guys come back and I can get you guys on. Thank you to everybody that stayed this entire time. There's 1,300 of you guys watching on multiple platforms. I really appreciate it. I'm going to probably try to get some clips from this because I think this was so fun. And maybe we can do these once a week. Maybe if you guys think that that's a good idea, let me know. And like and subscribe on the way out just to make sure that the channel is growing. It's free, so you don't have to give anything for it. And we'll definitely talk on the next one. See you guys next time. Bye, guys.